online. Weapons systems online. All systems nominal.
Hello, welcome once again to the amazing live show. My name is A-MEZ-ING. If this is your first time watching and tuning in, this is going to be a very fun ride because we're going to have someone all the way from Netherlands joining us this evening. And this is going to be really fun because especially for those photographers out there who want to have an idea of how to start fashion photography, this episode is absolutely designed for you. I make it sound as if I'm the one who did all the shooting like that. But anyway, today is gonna be really fun. We're gonna go. Oh, I can't say the word fun because the guy I'm interviewing today is really fun. Okay, the last time I met him was 4 years ago. Richard Terborg is going to be in the house and he is going to share with us some tips and tricks later on. But for now, I just want to do a little bit of my social media shout out and of course, talk a little bit about what the amazing live show is all about. So if this is your first time tuning in, this show is actually something I started for fun during the pandemic period. It's because during the circuit breaker in Singapore, we are on lockdown, we can't go out and shoot and stuff like that. And I've been stuck at home, and instead of moping around and watching Netflix all day because I got no one else to chill with, my wife is still working. I decided to start live streaming, and this is how it began. Basically, it was just a simple webinar concept kind of thing, just talking about photography, and eventually evolved into what it is today, where I have guest speakers from all over the world joining us for a couple of hours to share their thoughts, tips and tricks, and knowledge, of course, on anything to do with photography. Okay, so today we're gonna have Richard Terborg in the house, and of course before that, social media shout out. Alright, so let's get Friday to share with me or share with you guys what the A-MEZ-ING is all about. Okay, so here is my website and portfolio. You can see the links are being shared by Friday right now in the chat window. If you guys are interested, you can take a look at my portfolio here. I also have my blog and my store. You can check that out as well. And in case you want to have a easier access to any of this, feel free to just bookmark it so you can have access to even my live stream channel. It's just over here. The link is here as well. And if you want to have like a if you guys want to have like a real time chat with me, you can always go over to my Facebook page. That's where I am always on. Because I have no life. No, I'm just kidding. From time to time, I do give updates here as well because this is where I'm most active. I do share my works here, and if there's any event pertaining to workshop seminars and things like that, once we get back to normal, this is where I make the announcements as well. But for now, because I am focusing more on the live stream channel, anything to do with the amazing live show will be shared over here. Any of the links, the latest updates with who the next guest speaker is, it's gonna be right over here. And if you want to, you can follow me on my Twitter account as well. Oh gosh, I just started Monster Hunter World. It's very fun. Can't get the word fun out of the script today. Okay, I'm just kidding. So we actually have a Twitter account here, which shares with you the latest updates to whatever's going on in my life, my photography career, or even the amazing live show itself. So do give it a follow as well. This is where you can also interact with me. And in the event that you forget to watch my live stream, which shouldn't be the case, I'm just kidding, you can actually go over to my YouTube channel over here, check out my past VODs. I've been uploading all the past episodes of the amazing live show. In case you forget to watch them or in case you missed any of the episodes, you can watch them over here in all its entirety. Now, unfortunately, because this is a live show, if you watch the VODs, you will not be able to see the interactions between me and the and you. I mean, you won't be able to interact with me because that's the past. It has happened unless you have a very cool-looking DeLorean that can go back in time. That's where you can actually join us on the live stream again. And of course, this is my Instagram. Yay! I'm back on Instagram. I'm once again active. So I've been uploading some of my stuff again. So if you guys can just give it a follow. From time to time, I do share some stuff on stories. I'll try to get back to the old days where I share tips and tricks as well over here. But I'm not really a big fan of Instagram these days. They've changed so much. Well, that's just the way it is. And of course, if you're watching the live stream right now, you should be over here. But if you scroll down, you can see there's a about section, so you can check out some of the stuff that I do. Some of you guys have been writing in and asking me about my gear and what do I use for live stream and things like that, you can actually check the post over here where I actually share with you the PC rig specs and stuff like that. Okay, and of course, as always, if you want to show support for the channel, you can always head over to my Razer Tipstream account. You can hit the QR code with your camera phone. Well, don't hit it, just scan it. Alright. From here, you can actually be led to the Tipstream page where all your tips and donations will actually certainly help with the running of this live stream channel. And if you don't want to, show your support through financial means or monetary means, you can always hit the follow and subscribe button in the top right hand corner of your screen right now. I would really appreciate it. And of course, for those of you guys who actually go all the way in and show your support through the Razer Tipstream, this is what you see. Anytime you show support through Razer Tipstream and basically buy shards to show your support, by using Razer Gold, you will be able to get Razer Silver. Now, this Razer Silver is really fun. Again, the word fun. This Razer Silver is really awesome because you get to accumulate them and you can actually redeem all these epic, wonderful prizes, including, well, it's not prizes, but redeemables. You can get epic Razer gear or games, the latest games in the even A-list ones. You can even get headsets, mice, microphones, keyboards, anything to do with Razer, and it's really awesome to have them as part of your PC collection. And once again, my voice is turning into something like Dr. Fauci's or Tina Turner's. I don't know why, because I've been talking too much, I've been drinking too little. But if you guys want, you can actually share with me. Tell me in the chat window, time to take a drink. There's actually a button here that tells me to hydrate. I can see Richard on the other screen, he's drinking right now. I need to do that often as well. Okay, speaking of drinking, I think Razer does have a tumbler somewhere. It's a flask or something. I've been eyeing it. There we go, the hydrator. I've been eyeing it. I've been thinking of getting it as well. So that's something on my to buy list. Now, past few weeks, I've been doing something called the Support a Creator campaign, where every Saturday I'll do a shout out to a local artist in Singapore. Just to share with you guys what's going on in Singapore right now. We actually still have the phase 2 of the circuit breaker still in effect. Lots of us have actually lost plenty of jobs. We are not able to go out there and shoot or do work or things like that. And the most unfortunate thing is that at this point in time, a lot of us still have to pay for our bills, and survival mode is kicking in, and a lot of us, instead of waiting for jobs to happen, we decide to branch out into other forms of creative work. So hey, thanks for the thanks for the follow, thanks for the bits. Okay, so basically some of our artist friends actually reached out to me when I started telling them that I'm going to start this Support a Creator campaign. All they have to do is just write into me and tell me what they sell, what they have on their store, and their social media links and things like that, and I'll just do a shout out for them on a Saturday episode. So lots of them actually sign up, and so today's shout out is actually for our friend Zenbi, aka Bei. So Bei is actually a painter, scenographer and prop artist. She graduated from the Nanyang Academy of the Fine Arts with a diploma in fine art, later joining Universal Studios Singapore as one of their resident scenic artists. In 2019, she moved to Portland, Oregon to focus on theater scenography. Some of her works include Christmas Carol and Pipeline at Portland Playhouse, and most recently the Found Dog Ribbon Dance at Coho Productions. She is currently on the lookout for scenography opportunities in Singapore and also provides versatile hand-painted backdrops for photography studios and events. Alright, so this is Instagram. Do hit her with a follow. I'm just going to put a link here in the chat window as well. This is actually her website, and she's got lots of really awesome stuff. You can read more about her over here, but let me just show you what she has done. I mean, look at that. She does plenty of very beautiful looking backdrops, and I think for photographers this could be something really cool. She also does props and things like that. I think for those of you guys who have been to Singapore and visited Universal Studios Singapore, you probably know the props there. The quality is exceptional. All right, the props there are in terms of quality are totally exceptional. We also have scenic design, which I can't click right now. I think it's not open yet, but yes, she does have a custom backdrop section over here. So if you run a studio, you can check out some of her custom backdrops. Okay, obviously a custom backdrop does not come with the model. Yeah, I'm just kidding right there. Okay, so anyway, today, as promised, we're gonna have someone joining us all the way from the Netherlands. Okay, so this evening we're gonna have Richard Terborg, and he is actually a conceptual fashion, portrait and fine art photographer. His background in media and design helps his overactive brain keep up with the many things he does at the same time. And to be honest, yes, Richard Manye Terborg, I always call him Manye because he loves to celebrate Mondays. He is the only person on my Facebook timeline who's always excited about Mondays. I mean, like, he is the total opposite of Garfield, man. You know, Garfield is always gonna, Monday, no coffee, John Arbuckle feed me, blah, blah, blah. But Richard is totally different. And I remember back in 2016, we met for the first time in Photokina, right? And he was such a friendly, and you know, his energy is so infectious. And you know, I showed him this. I said, I'm gonna put you in a Pokeball, and he actually gamely, you know, join in and the fun, and you know, he's really like a Pokemon. You know, he runs around, he's like making everyone laugh, and he also looks kind of squishy as well, just like a real Pokemon, and it's so lovely to be around him. And that's why I decided, like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna have him on my show because he's a fun guy. Okay, so basically what he does is that he actually drives people to stop talking and start doing, and that's him. Okay, he makes people want to do stuff. And you know, one of the things that I love about him is that when you hear him talk, you just want to really get up there and do something with your camera. You don't want to just sit down there and listen to him talk, because that's boring. Richard will somehow, I think he's a Jedi. He makes you think stuff and get you out there and take action. Okay, so let's take a look at his stuff. This is some of his works. You can see this on his website. It's amazing. His portfolio is truly amazing, and I see we have some folks here watching, and they probably know him as well. Maurice Jaeger is in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Sarah's, hi, thanks for the bits. If you are watching right now and you're on the live stream in the chat window, just say hi and tell us where you're from so I can do a shout out for you as well. In the meantime, take a look at this. This is like you know, oh man, how do I describe it? Look at all the colors. It's just phenomenal. It's like a unicorn walked into a store and decided to go ham and just paint the whole room by rubbing his fur all around. I don't know why. That's the first thing I thought of. But it's so brilliant and colorful. But there is a side to Richard that I really love as well. His black and white shots are really amazing, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about all his works today, and he's gonna share with us some of the breakdowns behind his works. And this is amazing because not all photographers are willing to share the breakdowns behind their work. They're not gonna show PSDs and stuff like that, but we're gonna have Richard sharing some of his workflow. Wu-Tang Clan 84, hey, hi, you're from Singapore. Yep. Thank you so much for joining us again. Oh, Maurice says I need to drink water, so he dreamed the hydrate. Yeah, so I'm just gonna drink water now. Can't drink too much, or you'll see me pressing the AFK so much more, because I need to make a run to the loo. But anyway, I have something to share with you guys here. I'm gonna play a short trailer showing what Richard has been up to all this time. Okay, not all this time, but some of his previous works as well, in a short video that I ripped off from his YouTube channel. Okay, stand by. All right, we have Richard in the house. How's it going? Oh wait, you're still muted. Let me unclick.
Good,
Okay,
good,
there
I'm
we
good.
go.
Yeah.
Oh man, how's it going, bro?
I'm good. I'm right here in
Oh
the
man,
house.
can't believe it. The last time we met was 4 years ago in Germany, and here we are. The wonders
And
of
here we
internet.
are, right? In the lockdown, can't move. This is
Oh,
the only
yeah.
way to meet your friends now.
Exactly. And you know what? It's very sad because for the past couple of years, I've been watching your timeline and I've seen how you interact with some of my favorite photographers from all over the world, and everyone's like being able to meet each other. But you know, I'm the only one who's like stuck in Singapore. And then just
You
when I
are.
have time to travel out, the lockdown started happening. I was like, oh man,
No.
it's terrible.
We were
bad
finally gonna
timing.
see you. You were finally coming into the world.
Yeah. Oh
And
wow,
then the
this-
lockdown happens.
This is gonna be fun because I was just telling the audience that you know your energy is really infectious. It's like your walking mug of coffee.
It is kind of, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, it's like the moment I hang out with you. I remember the first time we met. The moment I just hang out with you for a bit. I remember I arrived in Germany from after harrying I think 18-hour flight from Singapore,
Jeez.
and I haven't had my rest. I just put my stuff down in the hotel and I immediately went out to what was it called, the Cologne Central, the Arts or
Yeah,
something like that. I can't
The
remember what it
messy,
was.
the cold messy. Yeah.
Yeah, then after that, I remember I was really tired. I was really totally out of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill, walk around a bit. Let's see if I meet anyone. And then somehow I met a whole bunch of the Smart Mug people. I saw Alistair. I saw Rennie Robin as well. And then they introduced me to you. And the moment I spoke to you, or rather talked to you for a while, and I just went like, wow, I'm energized. You're like my human
didn't-
power bank.
You didn't look tired when I met you. You were all energized. You're saying you're tired. I don't believe it. You
Yeah,
weren't tired
exactly.
when
I was
met
like,
you.
oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I remember I was quite a whiner back then because I was just so tired. But you somehow managed to make me more alive. And you know what's crazy? Right after that, we were literally like talking like long lost friends. You know, and that's just how friendly you are to me. I mean, I expected you'd be like, who is this guy? Yeah.
And that's testament to the community, right? It's
Yeah,
testament
exactly.
to how we are together, where we are together.
Yep. Sorry, just want to check if your video kind of froze again. Is everything okay on
Oh.
your end? I mean, it's a very nice mugshot of you right now.
With a big smile on my face, isn't
With
it?
a big smile on your face, exactly. This is the Richard I know.
1 second to reconnect. It's probably my resources that are crying here. Give me a second.
Sure. No problem. Yeah, people are saying you froze at the right time. We got Florosaurus, we got Vandenberg, Vincent Vandenberg. Yeah, I recognize you as well, buddy, from Netherlands. We've got Maurice in the house as well. We got Nat, who's joining in all the way from Singapore, as if I'm living far away from Singapore. I am here as well. Yeah, okay,
How big
you're
is
back.
Singapore?
Yeah. How big is Singapore? You can throw a few hundred Singapores in Netherlands, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're really a tiny island here. So anyway, now I just want to share with you guys at home who Richard is. So I'm just gonna ask him to describe himself. Okay, so Richard, how would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself? Very energetic.
Can see that. Yeah.
Very happy, and yeah, kind of a people person.
Yes.
Look, I know my website is very how you call it, because people told me you need to like specify and you need to be like very how you call it, specific. So I'm like a portrait, fine art, fashion photographer. But what I've been lately, I've been moving more into a generalist instead of a specialist. So I'm now mainly saying I'm a people photographer. I haven't like updated my website yet, but I mainly shoot people, and if there's a human in there, I don't really mind what it is. I shoot a lot of things, a lot of different things, and it's the energy I get from the people, right? I get to do what I love every day. I get to do my job every day. I mean, pick something you love and you'll have the energy to do it for the rest of your life, and that's kind of, I think I'm the living testament to that.
Yes.
I had an office job. I mean, I've done things inside of office, and I felt dead inside. Could you imagine me stuck into an office 40 hours a week?
No, I can't imagine it. Because the moment I met you for the first time, it struck me so much that you are a carefree individual. You are the very embodiment of what freedom is all about when it comes to expressions in creativity. So to see
I
you
try
in
to
a-
be. I try to be.
but to see you in a 9 to 5 job in an office,
Right.
nah, no way. You you go crazy. You go crazy.
That becomes me. Jesus. No, exactly. So as soon as I got out of here, that's when the kind of the demon released and they got like boom, full Super Saiyan power. Let's go.
Super Saiyan.
Let's
Oh
not stop
man.
this.
But where do you get your energy from? I mean, like, if Superman gets his energy from the sun, what about you?
I think it's definitely the work you do and the people you are with. I mean, if you work with very energizing people and very fun people and you talk to them every day, you get energized. I mean, I have my down days. I definitely have my down days. But as soon as I talk to somebody, another friend who has the same energy as me, they like lift me up again. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like we've been a lift for everybody in the world and each other to kind of keep going. And I think it's that. I think it's doing what you love gives you the energy to do what you love. Maybe a little bit of ADHD, who knows? I don't know. Because I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea. It's definitely not caffeine.
you know, for a moment there, I was like, listening very intently, and I was thinking that you're gonna make a very serious point. But that's the thing I love about you. You interject a lot of humor, or inject a lot of humor in the kind of things that you do, from your workshops to your talks to your seminars to even like casual chats with your friends, and that I think is what draws people to you. You're social human magnet, I think.
Social human magnet.
Social human magnet.
Well
yeah.
said. I'm going to change my website going to social human magnet.
But
There
that's the
you
thing. You draw people to you, and I like what you said just now, because you actually say that the like-minded people will flow over to you because they sense the energy. And I think in a sense you and I are much alike. We draw energy from other people. So if people coming in speak to me and they have that kind of energy level, they make me alive as well. And that's what happened in Germany, because I was very tired. This
I
Asian
just gave
boy.
you a little bit of mine, a little bit of my coffee to survive another few hours.
Oh my god, guys, if you're watching this at home, you have no idea how I looked like back then. I was like this lost Asian boy. Totally.
He wasn't. He was fully energized when I saw him. When I saw him, he was all up there, ready to go with the Pokeball, running behind me.
Yeah. But before that, I was so dead. I was so tired. And somehow this guy, he's like a Duracell energy bunny battery kind of thing. He just like went up to me and just like, hi. And I was like, oh, shish. Power up. Super Saiyan mode as well.
There you go. Super Saiyan, let's go.
Yeah, man. It's very infectious. Really, Richard, your energy is totally infectious. In fact, right now, you're like thousands of miles away. Even though we're just connected via Zoom, I can feel the energy, and thank you so much. This is really revitalizing. Considering the past few days I've been like with work, but yeah,
You inject a little bit of, there you go.
exactly.
A little bit of Richard sauce over it.
Richard sauce. That sounds very wrong.
Sprinkle a little bit of.
Okay, but very curious. How long have you been doing photography?
Well, it usually kind of depends what's the point where you start calling yourself photographer. But I was born on an island in the Caribbean, so I'm from a very small country as well. I was born and raised on Curacao. And it's a Dutch colony, and pretty much everyone or a lot of people living there, once you have your high school degree, the only way to go is to the Netherlands or to America to get the rest of the degrees. Like high school only gets you so far on the island. There's no higher degree or anything else. You have to get off the island. And that's like a normal route for my mom, for my dad. Everybody just comes there. They kind of, you were born there, you live there. And when you're 18, 19, you go to the Netherlands, you study a few years, and then you go back. So when I was 17, it was like my turn. I was done with high school. I wanted to go to the Netherlands. And that's when my mom and dad, or my aunt actually, gave me like a little point and shoot HP camera, and I started documenting my friends and the people on the island before I left, and documenting the people new that I meet here. I mean, showing my mom, sending like little news updates back home, like this is my house, this is my school. And that's also where like the selfies kind of came in. They came in like at around in the year 2000. It was way before we had like selfie cameras. The word selfie didn't even exist. We had like the Nokias with the snake. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
So that's around that time when I came to the Netherlands, and I would like update my mom every week with like a selfie. So I put like the camera in my room. I would take a selfie, And then every week I would like send like a newsletter to my family back home, going like, hey, this is my room, everything is fine. In school, I would make like I would go sit in the class, by myself in the class, put my camera in the front, and send it to my mom. And say like, see, this is my classroom. This is where I go to school. So this is how like kind of my selfie. It was like kind of like a little snippet update to my mom. And those selfies got a little bit more extreme. So over the weeks, I was kind of like playing with it. So I would like put like powder on my table, like cocaine and weed, have like girls in my room, and then make a selfie. I'm like, I'm still okay, mom. Everything's fine. No worries. Or like, set the place on fire, burned edges everywhere. Like,
Oh, man.
I didn't burn up the kitchen. Everything is fine. So this is like kind of how my selfie and photography and kind of developed as an update. I would send to my parents as an update. I would send back home to the family. And something personal, right?
Yep.
All these selfies I made back in the year 2000, they're gone. I mean, back in the year 2000, we weren't talking about backups. We weren't talking about hard disks were like 4 gig max. They were very expensive. Very expensive. So I've through a lot of crashes and, I mean, again, I was a 17-year-old kid. You don't care about pictures and all. So all those selfies, I kind of lost them throughout the years. There aren't many left. But it did kind of start sparking the joy of photography and the joy of taking pictures. Flash forward, I finished my degree. I go working for a company. I get my first paycheck. That's when I bought my first DSLR and started seriously learning what is f-stop, what is shutter speed, what is ISO, etc., etc.
Do you recall which is your first camera, the one that you bought with your first paycheck?
Hell yes, I still got it.
Oh,
it's hell yes. It's a Canon 400D. It's in. I can pop it up. Give me a second.
Yeah,
you go
sure, no problem. Yeah, see, guys, this is what I mean by Richard's tendency to make yourself feel involved in everything that he does. He's so infectious in terms of energy, and I really can't wait for you guys to. Oh, look at that! There we go. I saw it. I saw it. Check it out. It's an old Canon
400D.
Oh, dude! You have the same DSLR as I did when I first started my first paycheck as well. Yay! We're 4D buddies.
There you go.
Oh man, this is so awesome. And
that was my first.
Maury says that it's his first one as well. It's like we're all drawn together by the power of 4D. Canon delighting you always.
Right? Because like the 350 was like the first one that you can actually get, and that was like affordable. But it's always like the first one. So in the first DSLR, I was like, do we take the first one or do we take the second one?
Second gen will always be better. The second child is always better than first child because the first child will be mistake.
You go. Hey.
I always feel that way about me and my
like,
brothers, like the first one is that was accidental. It was a good experiment, but let's try again.
It was a test.
So
the second one got better, definitely.
Oh man, and when you were back in school, did you study anything media or arts related?
Because my dad is in IT. He's one of the bigger IT guys in the Caribbean as well.
Okay.
So I had internet very, very soon, pretty much before anybody else in the country. And so I've always wanted to be that IT guy, right? So growing up, I was always around computers. I was always building my own PCs. At 14-year-old, I was only doing HTML. I mean, that was when HTML kind of was born. It didn't really exist. Internet didn't really exist. So I was already like printing source codes, figuring out what the source code was doing on the screen, and kind of so programming and IT was what I wanted to do. Came to the Netherlands, did it in I think 3 years. So in 3 years, I got my degree in IT and computer science and networking as well. I'm a security specialist as well. And after those 3 years, I've noticed I was missing a creative part. I was missing so I was doing the programming, doing the exact brain, getting everything, knowing how it works, but I needed something creative. So I think I was 20 years old when I finished. I was 17 when I came, 3 years, 20 years when I finished school. So I had, I have some time left. I'll do one more degree. And that was in multimedia and design, multimedia engineering. So the only way to kind of explain this school and education is I know everything you can stick a cable in. So it was audio design, it was video design, it was web design, it was graphics design, it was programming, it was everything multimedia, everything you can stick a cable in, and then bringing it to the internet. Keep in mind, this was before YouTube. We were like building our own players, back in the days, our flash players, and importing video to like display video. So this was like, I was the programmer who understood how to bring video before YouTube to like a internet screen.
Oh, you could have cashed on it, man.
I could have cashed on it. I didn't, but I could have definitely cashed on it.
Oh, man,
but it's kind of my Yeah.
But I'm very curious, because you work in the IT line. In Singapore, we have this problem with piracy. A lot of software being pirated and things like that. Do you call people use pirated software in the Caribbean Pirates of the Caribbean? Just couldn't help. I was holding it back, bro.
I'm gonna remember
I was holding
this
it
one.
back.
Oh, I need to remember this one. I need to remember
man.
this one.
I was holding back since the first time you mentioned the word Caribbean. I was like, no, don't make that pun joke. Don't make
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
But
no,
I gotta
definitely
do
be
it.
that one. I'm gonna write this one down.
Oh, yeah,
Jesus
you gotta. Yeah, on top of the social human magnet.
There you go. There you go. Pirate of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the
bitch.
Caribbean, yeah. But curious, now that you mentioned that you actually studied as a multimedia engineer, right?
Yeah.
Where you basically become a jack of all trades. Forgive the pun again with regards to the Caribbean. Do you feel that whatever you studied back in school back then, are they relevant to what you do today?
Definitely, and definitely, I had a head start in if we're talking about learning how to brainstorm and actually brainstorm, right? Learning how to get words on paper, create sentences, and then create a design, a logo, whatever out of that brainstorm. So having the skill to brainstorm something and then realizing that idea is what multimedia engineering gave me. It also gave me the management skills. I need to manage my team because you're working with multimedia, you're working with audio, video, design, and connecting all these people together. Usually it's not one person, it's department, and you're connecting the departments together. You're the guy that understands all the departments and can connect it all together and bring it together. So it learned me the management skills. It taught me composition. I mean, composition in design is the same as in photography. The rule of thirds still apply in design as they apply in composition. Color rules, so color theory, apply in design as the way they apply in Photoshop. The one thing I didn't expect, and this is, I mean, we all know how big Photoshop is, and this is testament to how big Photoshop is. I've been photoshopping ever since I've been like 12, 11, right? I've been into web design. I've been making graphics, websites ever since I was a kid. So I've learned Photoshop from the beginning. When I stepped into photography, I had to relearn Photoshop.
Oh.
So I know how to use Photoshop, this part. That was my design coding part. Then I got into photography. Then I had to learn that part of Photoshop. So, and now that I've into photography, I've only been using that part. And every now and then I jump back into graphics. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. There's like this whole other part of Photoshop, like all those buttons you never push, right? And all those options you never use. There is a purpose for it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I've used them in my other. So I've never expected. So I was the guy that goes like, oh, I know Photoshop. I mean, fuck, I've been in Photoshop ever since I was 12. Getting my pictures into Photoshop, then being like, I don't know what to do. I've never. How do you Photoshop a picture, right? What do you do? So yeah, so that was the surprising thing that I had to relearn. I had to relearn Photoshop for photography. But other than that, I mean, the video editing skills, which now, I mean, back then I couldn't tell it was going to be something.
Yep.
But now, very in the media and especially around COVID and the Corona things, I've learned audio design, right? I can work with Audition. I'm running my mic through Audition, through you right now, so that amplifies my voice. These things I've learned. So as soon as I started opening Audition, I was like, oh, I remember this from school. Oh shit, I can I know what a mic is. I know what a condenser mic is. I know what I need. Same with film photography, right? I've been doing more behind the scenes. I've been doing more video tutorials. I've never had to learn from the start. I already knew this is the shutter speed. I can go up the shutter speed compared to the frames per second, yada, yada. These are things I've learned in school, right?
Yep.
So, so multimedia design has given me a great base to be a multimedia person in a multimedia world we live in now versus being only a photographer.
And I think the most important thing is that at the end of the day, you've mastered the fundamentals, so you can actually, manipulate all these ideas to apply to all the things that are relevant today. Because technology can evolve, but the fundamentals, the theories behind it, the practices is still the same. I feel ISO is still ISO, shutter is still shutter, aperture is still aperture since the days of film. No change.
No, exactly.
You can talk
and
about
it's all about the composition and the story as well, right?
Exactly.
There's not a lot of changing there either, so it's a lot from you and a little bit of technology.
Yep. And when you actually began photography, did you actually have any formal internship or apprenticeship in a media house to further your career as a photographer?
No, zero. I'm not a how you call it. I'm not a I'm not that kind of person. Let me put it that way. I am more of a. I learn from people, friends, and I rather learn together. So how my I learned from Flickr. So back then we didn't have we only had Flickr, right? So I would go to the office. I was still working for my boss back then. I would go to the office, photograph some flowers, photograph like my way to the office, learning my camera, learning depth of field, coming into the office, offloading my pictures, upload one to Flickr, and just start commenting and talking. And this is around the time I met Benjamin von Wong. He was still shooting flowers. I was still shooting flowers. We were both not shooting. We weren't even talking about models or thinking about models. We were just still learning our camera. Yep. So that's when I started learning friends like Ben, like other people around the world, that friends of mine that came in through Flickr. We started commenting, hey, what's this depth of field that you have? Oh yeah, I bought this new 50mm 1.4. Oh, 50mm 1.4. I gotta find the 50mm 1.4. What is this, right? So that's kind of how we were talking. That's my whole photography. That's been my whole photography school. Growing up in the generation of the Benjamin von Wong, with Benjamin von Wong and the other friends of mine around it, we've all grew at the same time. Yep. And if one would go like, here's a 50mm, this is what you can do with it. We were all like, holy shit, we need to buy a 50mm, right? Then one of us would like shoot a model and we will be like, you motherfucker, you did something very okay. I'm gonna freaking find a model and shoot something amazing just to just to up you because yesterday you've uploaded that one thing and I need to like up you.
It was
just like
one another.
Basically. Exactly, it's like a friendly game between friends on Flickr who were like learning, and that's kind of how it evolved into being a little bit more serious. And again, and
it's kind of amazing how you and Benjamin share something in common. Both of you were once engineers in their own right. You being a multimedia engineer, and for him, I think he was more of a electrical or mechanical. I can't remember what it was, but he was an engineer as well. And exactly. Somehow you guys met, crossed paths on Flickr, no less, because now Flickr is part of SmugMug as well, and you guys are still on SmugMug as well. And I don't know, this is the amazing part. Everyone who comes through this show, at least 1 in every 5 of photographers I interview on the show, say that one way or another they've met Benjamin von Wong, and Ben actually kind of like inspired them to pick up photography. So in your case, it's even cooler because you actually grew with him.
Yeah, we both grew out of the same generation, commenting, and even recently I went searching for like my first comment because we all still have like the Flickr page from the get-go. We never deleted anything. He hasn't deleted anything either. Yep. So you can still scroll back to like one of the first images that we started commenting on each other, and it was like really almost 20 years ago. Wow. That this whole crazy shit started, and look at where we're at now. Yeah. But it's how I met, true Ben is how I met Renee, is how I met Alistair, is how I met, so Ben came to my place, he did like the Europe tour back then, and he stayed in my place, and we really got connected. So that was the first time we really could see each other after all those years of chatting online and getting to know each other. And that's when he kind of connected me with all the other people as well, the Renees, the Alistairs, and that's when I started like organizing workshops in the Netherlands for Renee, for people outside of the country, for like, the little family that we had going around the world.
It's awesome. And Ben is like another social human magnet.
Oh yeah,
definitely is. And I guess
I usually call him like my Asian twin. Like we both are the exact same copy. As soon as we work together as well, it's like the exact same copy.
Exactly. You should call yourself Richard von Terborg and Benjamin Richard Wong or something. I don't know. You guys are like interchangeable at this point. It's crazy.
And it's fun. And even if we don't speak, I haven't spoken to him, I guess, maybe in a year or a year and a half, because, we're all busy and we're all running around. Yep. I know that as soon as we meet again and we talk, it's like it was yesterday. And it all goes like...
Definitely. And he's now focusing more on environmental works. He still does photography as well, but I'm pretty sure you guys, if you meet up again, that same synergy that you had 20 years ago is still going to be the same today.
Oh yeah. Again, Ben has also been always like a kind of path that we all look to, and how we could go and how it could go. So it's also a good beacon to look at. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, he himself, for me, has changed the way I looked at photography, because when I first started photography, just like you, I was like going around taking photos of flowers. That's a nice flower. Wow, no one else can take flowers photos like me. I was thinking that way. I was like, wow.
Yeah, definitely.
And then after that, when I saw his work, I was like, oh shit, this camera can do that.
Right. But then you gotta like up it. You gotta like.
yeah, exactly. And I, changed, totally changed. And I think like what you said, having to interact with people from all over the world. You mentioned Alistair. Alistair's from Scotland. Renee's from Canada. Ben from Canada as well. It's like being open to all these photographers and artists from all over the world has actually managed to mold you into what you are today. I mean, like, for all you know, if you hadn't gone on Flickr, you'd still be walking to your office today and still taking photo of flowers and figure out, look at that depth of field, very nice.
Yep, no, pretty much. I'll be like this old guy with like a beer belly, gray hair. Do like sneaky street photography with like my tilt.
You gotta have a hat. You gotta have a hat. You gotta wear a hat,
there you go.
sneaky
Have
hat.
that.
Yeah, and so now you did mention about your first camera. In fact, you showed it, and your 400D still looks in good condition. But for your actual work today, what's in your bag right now? Could you share some of your gear?
Some of my gear.
Yep.
I have like 2 systems now. I work a lot with Olympus. I'm an Olympus visionary as well, ambassador for Olympus.
Oh, awesome.
So I pretty much have all their cameras, I think. This is the Olympus I use for my day-to-day. So it's always in my bag. It's lightweight. I also use it if I go on vacation. I never go on vacation. But as soon as I go on I mean, it's when I travel, right? So when I travel light, and I love to travel with my Olympus. Mm-hmm. For my real company, business, commercial shit, I still use the old Canon 5D Mark II.
Oh, wow. That's a classic.
Yep. That's a classic.
Yeah.
So the Mark II is my pretty much go-to.
Oh man, you and Renee share the same. Renee is still using 5D Mark II as well. You guys are like...
I think she upgraded recently to a Mark 3 or 4, but it's like recently.
She think so. She only got a Wacom 1 today. No, I think
I
the camera's the same. Yeah, I saw that as well. She was like contemplating between getting another tablet. I think between a Wacom 1 and I think a Mobile Studio Pro or something. I just thought Wacom 1 pretty good. It's decent for its price, you know.
I really wonder, especially because of the price indeed. Like, do you need to go to Pro now, or can you just
Here you go, man, bro. This is pretty good. There you go. It's the Wacom 1.
Okay.
Yeah, you should
convinced. You got one, Renee got one. I'm convinced. I'm going over.
Yeah,
got this.
Even Seth got it as well. I think a lot of people are like saying, the Wacom 1's really good. And I can see in the chat, Kaito Des from Malaysia says, "Oh, a Micro Four Thirds guy." Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny because not often we actually see professional photographers who actually use Micro Four Thirds. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, full frame, medium format. Oh, full frame is the best." You know, compared to APS-C Micro Four Thirds and.
I get it, and don't get me wrong. As a person who's been shooting both, I've been an Olympus visionary, I think, for 5-6 years now. Mm-hmm. So I've been really shooting both for 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
I get there's more range in a bigger sensor, but you guys got to keep in mind, I'm a kind of guy who has his camera on his back every single day. I don't leave my house, leave my place without a camera on my back. Even if I go do groceries for 10 minutes, it's my camera bag with a camera in it on my back.
Wow.
So exactly, I have a camera because this all comes down to, I once was in a train. I was in a train, and the train was going, and I was looking outside the window in the train. It was like morning, the sun was coming up, it was like golden hour. And we passed by this amazing tree, and you can see like the mist on the bottom of the tree. You can see the golden light coming over the mist, and I'm like, "Fuck! I didn't bring my camera, Jesus!" And I turned to my left, and I see a motherfucker taking out the DSLR with like one big ass 270 to 200 millimeter. He points it outside, and he does click. As soon as he did, that was the time I like said to myself, "I'm never ever leaving that door without a camera on my back." Ever again. And that was like 15 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So
I can't imagine.
There is something to say about having a bigger sensor for a bigger project, and I have that too, but I walk around with my camera day to day, and I would never in my life walk around with a big DSLR on a day-to-day business. I just need a smaller camera. It's very fast. You take it out faster, you shoot something faster. I shoot way more and a lot more freedomly. So I don't only shoot work. Some people, I should become a photographer. It becomes work, and you start shooting only portraits and only people. What I find is if I have my Olympus and I just go a little park walk, I shoot flowers again. I'm like in the moment. I'm kind of like, releasing something that is also there, which is also part of you. And this is something the Olympus brought back. It brought kind of a fun, just go out and shoot something fun and have fun with it. Instead of like, I got to drag the DSLR and change a lens and yada, 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 yada. So that's what I have to say about Micro Four Thirds.
Yeah, awesome. And the lights, what lights do you use these days?
Oh, lights. Lights. I'm still a big Alan Chrome ambassador.
Ah, awesome. Yeah, is
Yeah.
it the same one that you use as part of your sandbag tip and trick?
Yep. This is my sandbag Dixon tricks. There you
Yep,
go.
yep.
There you go. I
Awesome.
have like monoblocks as well. So I think I have around 10, 20 lights. I have a lot of lights. I have a lot of
Wow.
monoblocks. But I'm noticing that I'm slowly moving from power monoblocks to all battery packs, even in the studio. I mean, we used to have like wires running around the
Oh yeah.
studio, power cables running around the studio, and it's fine. I mean, people step over it and everything's fine. But I've noticed just having a battery pack at your tripod, so it's like a one system battery pack tripod, and you can just move it around. You have one in the back there, two
Yep.
over here. Everybody can just move way easily without thinking, oh, am I, tripping, stepping over
Exactly.
something.
Exactly.
So I've been slowly upgrading everything to power packs and throwing away the the monoblocks.
I'm just hoping that one day our power packs will come in wireless format, so we don't have to worry about cables anymore. That would be so awesome.
That would be the best. That
Yeah, that'd
would
be the best.
Like a little pad on the bottom, you can charge it when you put it on. When you put it down. My phone can do it. Why can't my laptop?
Exactly right. I was thinking that if a phone can do it through wireless charging, why can't we have that? But I think it would be
Right.
very bad. It's radiation and stuff. We'll all be glowing green.
I'll take it. I'll take a little radiation with my.
Oh man. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your earlier works. Do you still hold on to your earlier works? Do you still have any that you can share with us today?
Well, like I said, the Flickr is pretty much the place where we
Oh.
lived and where we did everything. So I'm just gonna scroll a little
Sure.
bit through Flickr and show you some of the
We're
work.
gonna see your old flower shots.
You will definitely see my old flower shots.
Oh man. Flower says, well, after 14 years, I'm still taking pictures of flowers. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We're still taking
Hey,
photos of
there's-
flowers as well.
I still take pictures of flowers.
Yep,
There's
yep.
definitely nothing wrong with that.
Oh, these are your street shooting.
Yeah, there
Did
you
you
go.
drop something? I hope you didn't drop your lens or something.
No. It wasn't my lens. It was my glass, but there's nothing underneath it, so it's fine.
Ah, okay. Phew.
Yeah, I didn't break. Let's see.
Flowers.
So this is my. These were my work. These were my walks to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would go from where I live to my job and kind of like photograph everything I see, kind of learn my camera. So one day, so let me just scroll back and then I'm show you this picture.
Oh.
So I've been photographing this, right? This is what I've been showing to people from day one. These were one of my first pictures. This was my job as an IT. This was one of my colleagues, right?
Yep.
So just testing the lens, walking to work, shooting some friends, people I meet in the street, just kind of street photography. And then commenting every day, posting every day. One day I couldn't comment and I couldn't post because I was sick at home. So
Yep.
I didn't I didn't go outside. I didn't take any pictures. And I was starting to get messages from the community. And they were asking like, why haven't we seen you? What's wrong? Do we
Wow.
need to help you or something? And I was like, no. I'm just like sick at home. So I haven't been outside to like do any flower shots. So I figured like, you know what? I need to like show these people that I'm still here, that I'm still alive and that's nothing wrong. So I resorted to what I used to do with my mom, like send old selfies, like, build a little
Wait.
scene
Wait,
to
is that
show.
you?
That's definitely me.
No way.
Beardless.
You look so-
That's beardless.
You look so weird. I mean, to see you with hair. It's like your beard shifted to the top of your head.
There's
You
hair.
look so
There's no
different.
beard. There's a lot of shit.
I gotta say this. You look a little bit like someone who would be a part of Linkin Park right now. I don't know why.
Got my wife into pieces.
that's Papa Roach.
Hey, there you go. So
Oh, wow.
this like, so I did that selfie. I did the selfie that I sent them. I posted it online, and it got like all the comments. Like this was the first time people actually saw my face, right? And again, selfies weren't like a thing. This was
Yeah.
all came out of what I've known. Selfies weren't a thing. Nobody knew about selfies. Nobody made selfies. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's you, Richard! Oh my God, we have never seen you. This is the best. Who the hell? That's funny." So
Oh,
in
man.
getting like all the likes and comments, I kind of figured, well, then if you like looking at my face, I'll kind of take pictures of my face then. So I started like a series.
Hold on. Did you actually put your camera in a dumpster?
I actually put my camera in the dumpster.
Wow.
So this kind of like sparked the series, things looking at me. So the creative thing I gave myself is my camera needs to fit inside the thing I'm photographing.
Oh, this is brilliant.
It needs to like see me. So my camera needs to be able to see me. It needs to be able to see the
Yep.
outer edges of the thing it's in, or else I might as well not put it in something. You can just see my face. And
This
with
was
these,
the 400D, I think.
yeah, all with the 400G, all with the kit lens.
Oh, wow.
No flash, no lighting, 5-second timer, the whole beep 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 beep, beep thing, and then that's what all that. So this kind of giving myself those restrictions, giving myself the restrictions in my camera needs to fit in it. It needs to be able to see the environment. I need to be on it. Those 3 restrictions gave me all the creative impulse to like go mad with this project. I can find, every place I go in, I could like find something to stick my camera in and to make a picture of it.
Including an oven.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, man.
Again, no lighting skills, 0, just kit lenses, and
But
that
that's the
sparked
beauty
like the
of
whole
it. I think.
series.
The beauty of it is that you actually earnestly share your works, regardless of the technicalities. You just want to tell your story. In this case, tell people your daily life, and that's the storytelling right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's where you kind of learn that storytelling is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go a little bit overboard. So then you go like, hey, maybe if I add more people to the picture, it will become a bigger production.
Yep.
But again, I didn't. I mean,
Oh wait,
I wasn't.
that's you as the Joker.
That's totally me.
Why?
You gotta do shit.
Oh man, I can see there's a lot of comments, and I guess the community actually builds itself. As you create more, and
the comments start rolling in more. People start liking it more. You start thinking about it more. And that's kind of how my selfies got built to what they are, and
Yep.
how I mean, this is my old work that's been done.
Awesome.
The experimenting with the flowers and the plants and the flash photography. When I got my first flash photography, first flash.
Which flash unit was that?
The Canon 430 EX2.
Oh wow, that's another classic right there.
Oh, there you go. It's a
wow.
speed light from hell.
It wasn't fun to start working with the 430EX. I agree, but it got the job done, I think.
It definitely got the job done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't know anything about flash photography, right? Flash photography to me was still having a flash on your camera, shooting paparazzi pictures. That was flash photography to me. So I was kind of like figuring out what this whole flash thing was.
Yep. And I guess you jumped into off-camera flash quite early, right?
I think I would say it was around the same time Ben and all my friends jumped into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we were all shooting flowers, as you could see on my Flickr as well. We were all shooting flowers, plants, environment, parties, whatever.
Yep.
And then at some point, like one transitions into doing that, and then we all kind of just try it and we feel for it.
Yep.
So one friend got like a flashlight and he was like, "Oh my god, like how we shoot sunlight? It's like having a personal sun. You can actually like control it like the sun, and you can move it like the sun." And that kind of resonated with me. I'm like, if it's, I get it. I get if you explain it's a personal sun. So that's when I bought one. We got it off camera right away. It was around like when strobist.com started and David Honnell started.
David
like,
Hobby.
So that's David Hobby. There you go.
Yeah.
That's when the word strobist slowly started coming into the community and rolling into the community. So that's how that's how we all then rolled into the strobists and into the learning flash.
I love the fact that you actually mentioned David Hobby's blog, because it's that blog that I still refer to time and time again, because the resources there is still relevant till today. He wrote that blog in 2010, I think. That was just amazing.
Yep. And it's still that information is like the information you need
to
get into flash photography and speed lighting and definitely all the good stuff.
Okay, so speaking of experimentations, I'm gonna share with the audience something that you experimented in your own free time a long time ago. Again, I found your YouTube channel and I began ripping a lot of old videos, and it's so fun to see you, exploring and trying out all your own. It's quite hilarious. So let's take a look at something that you did with coffee. Alright, stand by.
For sure.
Oh, that's just so cute. It's really fun to watch you try and experiment, and can hear the shutter clicking non-stop. Exactly. It's like, you literally set it up with a mug of coffee, put it on the bench or on the floor, and then you just like hold down and just spray and pray and throw the ice cube thing. I think it was an ice cube or a piece of.
It's whatever, man. I've thrown potatoes, pieces of rock, carrot. I don't know what I've thrown in there. Whatever that's heavy and creates a splash. Not too big of a splash, so don't throw a big tomato in there. It will create like a really big splash. Just throw something small that's heavy in there, and yeah, definitely create a splash.
To be honest, during the whole time I was watching this video, during the setting up for this live stream, I thought you're gonna put ice cube inside using potato, and I was like, that took me off guard. I didn't expect this. But when was this? It seemed like it was like when you were first experimenting with your 400D a long time ago.
No, this was already my second camera. This was my 7D, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I don't say it's not recent. I think it was 2015, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I think it was I have like the Monday morning thing, and instead of like the text, I mean I've been doing the Monday morning motivation for I think 7 years every Monday, and that's a very long time. So I think around 2015, 16, I kind of like started changing it up and putting like the coffee splashes on the Monday morning instead of like the text, or putting it with text. So it was a way for me to kind of build a rhythm as well. Get up at 6 in the morning, go outside, do the coffee splash, come back inside, edit that picture, edit the video for the coffee splash, upload both, and then say good morning, Monday morning. So it's kind of like a rhythm thing I was getting into to try out for a little while.
Yep.
But yeah, no. It was fun after 4. Then I ran out of like different mugs. I didn't want to keep using like the same mug. I only have like 4 mugs, so I couldn't. I'm done. I have my 4 mugs. I don't have anything else.
but it's good, that you actually started this out to brighten up people's Mondays, because Monday is always a dreaded day. Like Sunday night, we'll be like, tomorrow Monday, back to the grind. But
no, Monday is a good day.
Exactly.
Monday is the best day.
You changed a lot of people's perspective on how Mondays should be seen. Instead of a day to be dreaded, now it's a day to be celebrated. It's amazing. And how do you get from shooting coffee splashing to shooting people?
The thing is, like, I like movies a lot, so I'm a big film person, and whenever I wanted to go into film, like making a movie, way before photography.
Yep.
And because back when I bought my 400D, a film camera was still 8,000 euros versus this camera was 200 euros. That's like a really big gap. Yep. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy like a digital film camera yet. I'm just going to buy a digital camera, figure out composition, and I can always, like, in my mind, I mean, I've done multimedia engineering. I know how videography works. Yep. I can always, in my mind, see the still picture, tone it, and then figure out a girl walking by or a scene of 2 people happening inside the scene. So I thought, like, you know what? I'm going to start with background first, figure out how to tone something. And if I know how to tone it, I hoped that within 10, 20 years, that's my toning in Photoshop, would be applicable on a video. And here we are. It took 15 years, but in the beginning I said, like, I'm not going to go into video. I'm just going to go into photography, learn the toning, learn the composition, and then at some point the video will be as cheap and as easy, and then I'll switch back to video. And I kind of like fell in love with photography and stayed there.
Yep.
But this is what I mean with, like, I know the people were always in there in my mind, even with like the flowers and the nature shots. In them, I always have like, okay, there needs to be like a girl here with like a dress, but I didn't have the resources. I didn't know who to call. So it was all like a matter of time building towards somewhere I already wanted to be.
Yep.
And I've noticed the same thing talking to people like Ben and, like other friends, it's like they've been saying the same thing. They're like, yeah, we photograph these flowers, learning the craft, learning the skill, but there is like a bigger story we want to tell, and that story involves people as well.
Yep.
And people photography. So it's kind of that's how it kind of merged. As soon as you kind of learn model mayhem, your Facebook came to be, right? So Facebook was a way for us to connect even more personally with people. You could just like send somebody a message and go like, hey, can I photograph you? Or like, can we like do something, right? So communication became a little bit easier. and that made like the transition to shooting people a lot easier. So I went from shooting flowers to Facebook coming, to Model Mayhem coming, to places where we can find people coming in, and me going on there and finding people, finding friends, connecting with more creatives, connecting with creatives that aren't photographers as well. You know, like painters, drawers, clothing designers, styling, makeup, whatever. Connecting with different people, and then slowly building a network. And what I did then was like really focus on the network as well. Like I wanted like a network. I needed like a really big network to be able to do everything I wanted to do. So I've done a lot of TFP shots. I've done a lot of helping makeup artists, a lot of helping stylists, a lot of helping models, all to like figure out who the group of people are that I want to keep working with. And I guess then within 3-4 years, once I've had like everybody around me that was around me, we started like going and creating whatever the hell we wanted.
I think it's a very good strategy to actually, keep on trying and experimenting with a group of people, especially when it comes to hairstylists, wardrobe, makeup artists, because at the end of the day, you need to find the people who match your vision, right?
Yeah.
And I guess right now you're into set building as well. It makes sense to actually draw on the skill sets of the people that you enjoy working with or can work with, and make a team out of it. And I guess this is why it's important to do networking. So some people working at home, watching this at home, will probably think that being a photographer, it's like being a lone wolf. You need to you can't be by yourself. It's impossible. You need to go out there and meet people and try to understand the human connection in photography, because eventually this is what you will fall back on when you need to create something really epic.
Yep, definitely. You need to be able to know your people. And I know a lot of lone wolves, but there's also the other side to the lone wolves. I know a lot of people who work with a new makeup artist every week, who work with a new model every week. I mean, for 5 years, I've seen a few people work with new people, trying to find new people, but their work never really, because they never really go past a certain level, because you never really grow with somebody, right? So I stuck to 2, 3, 4 makeup artists that became my friends. We've been working together for 10 years and we've been growing together for 10 years, right? So you can like actually push each other and grow, instead of bringing in a new one every week that's kind of scared. You're kind of scared because you don't know each other. And if you do that every week for 10 years, you never kind of get comfortable in like a space where like the makeup artist goes like, hey, should we try this? And it looks like totally amazing, right? So besides being a lone wolf, don't work with like many different makeup artists. Try to find your niche of people that work well with you, and then keep those very close.
Like a core group or something, a core team.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have to be one. I mean, I have like maybe 3 or 4 different makeup artists, 3 or 4 different stylists, and 5 to 6 different models. But those are pretty much my first go-to. Whenever I have something, I drop it into that group, and then we see from there if anyone can do it, wants to do it, and otherwise I'll go outside.
So let's take a look at one of your trailers that see you in action shooting portraits, and just observe how you actually do your portrait shoot. Okay, stand by. Alright guys, so again, for those of you tuning in this at home, we are with Richard Terborg, and just want to do a little bit of a shout out about my live stream channel. If you guys want to show support for the live stream, you can actually head over to my Razer Tip stream by clicking on the QR code, or rather scanning the QR code with your camera phone, so you can be brought over to the Razer Tip stream page, where you can actually buy Razer shots through Razer Gold to show support for his channel. Or if you want to, you can just hit the follow, subscribe button. All this of course is not necessary, but truly appreciated. Alright, so anyway, this evening we actually have Richard Terborg from Netherlands. If you've just joined us, welcome. So Richard, that was just so brilliant to actually see you in action. Just out of curiosity, right, what is the concept behind this shoot? Hippie fashion, what is that?
That was like it's a very old it's a very old behind the scenes.
Yep,
but it was a concept of a good friend of mine. She's a clothing designer, and she wanted to make like a African print themed hippie type shoot. And hippie being like the 70s, flower power, very happy, very loose. So that was like her idea that she wanted to shoot, and that's why we kind of went to the forest and shot like a very African type hippie.
So it was like a collaboration work, or is this like a, you know?
This is a collaboration work. So yeah, the designer, she hired me to shoot her design, shoot her concept. I mean, I've known her for a while. We've been friends for a while as well. So I shot a lot of her concepts and designs, and her collections. This was one of the first shoots we did together. Over the years, we have like progressed it to here. I can show you if I share this and I go here. This is the one we did on a more later.
Oh wow!
Exactly.
This is a step up.
yeah, there you go. That's the difference between my first shoot and the and the more later shoot. But it's the same designer.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Different stylist, makeup artist. We've been doing a lot of African themed prints, and especially now. I mean, the times have changed. That we are now in a time that's actually relevant, even more now. Seeing discussion in the world, in America, and everything as well.
Oh,
but I mean, we're talking here about 2013. That's 7 years ago for me. And there was a discussion then for us too, and it's still a discussion for us now as well. So yeah, she's very much about that, and.
But this is so gorgeous. It's so brilliant. I love it, and I can see there's a very distinct change in terms of evolution between your hippie shots and what you have here. There's this conceptual fashion shoot that you are doing right now with the same stylist and the same designer.
There you go. You see that what I mean with like how you're both growing. She had to grow into finding the right palette for her job, for her work. I had to grow in finding, you know, my skills, my lighting skills, my models. I'm keeping the screen open just to show you guys. I want to say one thing. A lot of people use like rolls of paper as their backdrop, and I don't know what the price is for it, but I can tell you the price in my country is like 50 euros for a backdrop roll. What I use is triplex wood, just like a wood backdrop with like a wood on the floor, and I paint. In this country, paint is way cheaper than the paper backdrops, so I can buy all the different colors paint and then just paint the piece of wood for a little cheaper than using a whole piece of paper every time, or rolling out the paper, or dirtying the paper, anything like that. It's also very sturdy, and I can build rooms. So I use like this little white thing to create like a room separation. But it's all plywood that I use as backdrop.
You could have fooled me, because I thought for a moment that was actually part of a room with blue flooring and wall.
Ceiling?
Yeah,
no, it's just like two triplex piece of wood standing like that, and I painted them both.
So it's hoisted by like a C-stand or something like that, so it stands still, or do you have like a...
It's a let's call it, it's a duct taped together, held by assistants, crying Smurfs in the back. It's not pretty if you zoom out.
But it works, you know. I mean, looking at the end product, it really works. You know, it has that very.
And that's what I try to tell a lot of people as well. Like, we need to fill a frame.
Yes.
So I put my camera down, I look through the frame, and I fill it, frame like exactly edge to edge. Everything outside the edge is probably like destroyed, broken, nothing like it looks on the picture. So that's how I work. I put my camera down, I put the frame, I look at it, and I slowly fill in what I need. And I've noticed like the backdrop is way too wide. Why do I need like such a long, you're just using parts of it. So that's why I started using like the plywood. It was like a very small, narrow wood. I can see my frame is right there. and then just kind of like filled it and painted it. Yeah.
Truly wonderful what you have done, because this idea looks very modular. I think you can move it around in a home studio or an actual studio, or even outdoors if you will, because it's plywood, right? It's not like as fragile as paper, and it's environmentally friendly as well, because you don't waste paper on backdrop. After a while, backdrops just die off, because people step on it and stuff. That's the thing.
They just use dead trees for those things.
Yeah.
But what I also wanted to say is like you can also how you call it? I forgot the term.
Recycle?
No, you can put paper on it. Wallpaper.
paper.
Sorry. So you can paint it a color, and I'm going to show you now what like the effect of wallpaper is. Let me just hit up the image. Here we go. Long live life. There we go. Share my screen. There. Share screen. Check.
There we go.
This is the same 2 plywood.
No way.
The one that was on the ground.
No
and
way.
The one I rolled up my backdrop. It's a gray backdrop, so I just rolled a gray backdrop. There's an assistant behind window number 1. There's an assistant behind number 1 holding like the plywood up.
Voice activated stands. But this is still the same plywood.
It's the same wood. I painted green. This is the green color I painted on like the strip I had at the bottom, the white strip. I cut it in 2. I put it halfway there. I took the wallpaper. I put the wallpaper on it, and it's the same 2 pieces of wood. Creates a door.
That's amazing. I thought for a while this was from a hotel room corridor scene. You can fool me.
Yeah,
and for genres, how would you differentiate the following? Because I saw on your website they actually do. Of course, just now you mentioned they're going to focus more into people photography, but currently your website actually says that you have focus on conceptual fashion photography, portrait, and fine art photography. So how would you differentiate all of these genres?
Look, when you start out, you have like ambitions and goals, and you want to do shit. And once you start getting older, those ambitions die out. No, it's all an evolution, and I think it's an evolution of survival as well. I mean, when I started, I wanted to do like the big fantasy stuff, right? I mean, my friends were Renee, were Ben. I was seeing like the big concepts, and I was kind of like doing the same to up them with my concepts, right? So we were kind of like challenging each other and playing around as friends. And what I've noticed is that it's not, I mean, we've all noticed the same. It doesn't really pay the bills. It does to a certain degree, and if you keep going at it, eventually a company will hire you to do it commercially.
Yep.
But the time and effort you stick into doing it doesn't really pay off. And I think that's why Ben went into the preservation of the sharks, and he started like adding stories to the images. And to me, I didn't have like stories to tell. I didn't feel like I have something to tell yet. So I went into a more I wanted to meet everybody. I wanted to meet more people. And having only that restriction in the fantasy world or whatever, it's too much of a restriction to meet all kinds of sorts of people. Yep. And I've also noticed that pregnant people started calling me moms and kid photography. I was never publishing pregnancy, maternity, or family pictures, but people were contacting me going like, Richard, we love what you're doing, and could you do that style and that idea, but with our family, but with my pregnancy? And that's why the term slowly starts evolving into people photography and not necessarily conceptual or fashion or design.
Yep.
Besides that, the fashion term came in through a friend of mine. A friend of mine, he's a fashion designer. I wasn't a fashion photographer, I was a people photographer, so I was doing portraits a lot. And you saw the old pictures. I was doing portraits, I was doing selfies, and I was doing nature. That's when I met him. He was making clothes, and he was a fashion designer. And he taught me the fashion world. So it's through him. He taught me what is fashion, how does fashion evolve, how do you figure out fashion, how do you make a statement, what is clothing, how does clothing flow, what is the story. He taught me that there's a story behind clothing pieces, right? There's a story behind couture. It is there and it shows the story of the designer. And you can either help amplify that story, so take the designer's story and really show it, or you be your own person, create your own art, and eventually a designer will find you and go like, I need my clothes to be in your world. So these are like the 2 parts that fashion can go to. Either you follow fashion and you kind of like you always left behind because you're always like 2 steps behind of fashion, or you kind of just do your own thing, keep doing your own thing, and fashion will eventually find you. And this is what I chose to do. Like I started creating my own art, doing my own thing, working with my friend who's a fashion designer. So I would shoot all his clothing. Like the African fashion designer girl would come to me, which I would shoot all her clothing.
Yep.
And slowly it would evolve. People would start calling me fashion photographer. I would get more fashion gigs. But I never saw myself as a fashion photographer or whatever. It's a term that was given to me, so I use it to explain what I do.
Yep.
But mainly I just shoot people. I help friends. I help a designer or a friend. He has clothes. I help him shoot the clothes and get it done, which makes me a fashion photographer. Okay, no, I'm just a photographer who does this as well. So the terms I use are the terms to like make it more specialist, because that's what I've been learned as a business. You have to be more of a specialist so that people hire you and they know what they hire you for.
Yep.
Now I've learned in the past 2-3 years, it's more better to be a generalist, to be a everybody person, because when Corona hits and you're the only wedding photographer you had and all the weddings are gone, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
Nobody knows you as a portrait photographer, but you can do portraits. You can easily do portraits. As a wedding photographer, you can do architecture because you've done inside of buildings, you've done outside of weddings, outside of churches, you've done all that, but you've marketed yourself so hard as a wedding photographer that you're stuck now. You can't do shit. Your company is there, your website has been built, you're stuck. So this is what I'm trying to avoid at all costs, as to being more of a generalist. If that part of the economy breaks, I can always jump into that part of the economy and keep going over there. And Corona is testament to it, because I just had enough work and been going fine.
That's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah, switching different things that I do.
So during this time, when you talk about fine art photography, what do you mean by fine art actually?
That's a term that a lot of people, there's no definition. There's no definition. I don't think there's a definition. I don't think anybody has ever stepped off and said like, this is fine art photography. I think fine art photography is like when you think of a concept, it's a concept you think from. It came from you, and you picture it with a story. So the picture has a story that you're telling from the concept that you've created out of your own.
Yep.
To me, that is fine art. Fine art is in painting, it's in architecture, it's in photography, you have fine art in all these disciplines. But what it pretty much means, it's work that comes from with you, that tells a story that is understandable to the rest. To me, that is fine art photography.
Right.
And that's what I've been doing with the designer. So the friend of mine who taught me fashion, at some point he had the same energy that I did. So he would make a dress every week. And he would live like very close. So every week he would like throw a trash bag over the fence. He's like, Richard, I finished another dress. Good luck. So every week I had to like think of a concept to go with his dress and shoot it. And he loved like very original, crazy concepts. So he was always like pushing to do something more. I'm trying to find if I have one lying around of those crazy ideas. But to me, that is fine art. I had to push myself every time to think of a story, something that goes with it, and create something awesome to display. There you go.
But I like what you said just now, how fine art is multi-faceted, because a lot of people have different interpretations of what's fine art. For example, in Singapore, I had an interview with another photographer and a printmaker, James Tan. He actually shared how he felt fine art is something that's not immortal.
Yeah.
The work has to die. It has to have a life, and then it has to have a limitation as to how long it is presented itself, and it has to be limited in its mortality. So I was like wondering, what do you mean by that? I said, you take your work, you print it out, and you destroy the digital art, and that is like a Banksy by itself. I was like, oh wow, that's something.
That is. I couldn't do that, but it is definitely
very interesting definition.
Something.
And I love the fact that everybody's got different ways of interpreting fine art, because at the end of the day, this is the embodiment of art. It's subjective. It's very open to interpretation.
It is very subjective.
It is.
I mean, I'm going to just randomly show you a lot of the works I did. Like he would throw it over the fence, and I would use gobos to like shoot this.
Wow.
So this how you call it, dress was called Urban Jungle. So he needed like an urban jungle. Right. I had a studio. I didn't have a jungle. So I figured, what happens if I bring the jungle inside the studio? So I went outside. I went and took some leaves. I went and take some trees, and I used it as a gobo to project on the background and tell like the urban jungle story.
Oh, this is
So this to
absolutely
me is like telling that story that resonates from within yourself. Oh,
Just out of curiosity, how big is your studio? Because to have that kind of a gobo to fill up the entire backdrop just makes
yeah,
me
the
wonder
space I'm
how.
using here is pretty big. I have some room, but it's not a lot of room.
Mhm.
I mean, let's say I'm away maybe 10 feet. The flash and the go are 10 feet away on the left,
Yep.
and my main light's on the right, and the model is like maybe 6 feet separated from the backdrop. So it's a
Wow.
very it's also it's very honest. You can see it on her arm. I
Yep.
just use the white flash to flash it away, but it's also over her face and everything else.
Nice.
But it's like these. I mean, I'm gonna go really fast through a few of them. This one was with food. I mean, these were like the random things we were thinking of: spaghetti, and it's about the tie. So I was selling the tie.
Ah. This reminds me of Dali.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, the mustache, right?
There you go. Yeah, white space, white on white. He used like little Lego bricks. They're not Lego, but they're like the kids play bricks, and he made a dress out of it.
No way. Oh, that's so cool.
So these are the ideas. So every week he would like I said, every week he would like drop a dress, and every week I would have to think of a concept to go with the dress.
Yeah.
Let's build a fucking big mountain of clothes. So we went to
Oh,
the
wow.
recycle center, got all the clothes, and built like a little mountain.
Are those like Instagram likes or something on her accessories?
Yeah, that was
Ah,
the concept of the idea.
brilliant.
Like everything for the likes, while we keep throwing away all the clothes that we had without recycling. Yada yada yada.
So when you share just now that you actually work with the same stylist to create works of art to sort of like I don't like to use the word, but this is the closest I can think of. Advertise the product, in this case like a bow tie, for example, or the dress.
Yeah.
Can you share with us the kind of clientele that you have other than working with your personal stylist? Do you do work for advertising agencies, or do you work for like a independent design house or things like that?
Yeah. I don't work for advertisement agencies, but that's mainly because over the years I've slowly become my own agency. I've been the guy
nice.
the agencies calls to get like different people. Hey, we need like a videographer. We need this. Richard, we need this and this and this. So that didn't motivate me to ever use an agency because I'm like, I can do it by myself. Why would I ever pay somebody else to do it? To pay somebody else.
Exactly.
There you go. But that being said, I do work with I don't know how to explain this. So I started doing this full time. I quit my job during the previous economic crisis, not the Corona one, but the banking and the housing one that happened in 2008. That's when I quit my job. So my learning ground was an economic crisis. That's why I'm surviving Corona now as well. I've done this before. I know how to survive it. Back then, I made my city council my client. So I figured, who's the person who always has money, no matter if there's a war, if there's whatever the hell happens in the world, there's one fucking group that always has money, and that's your council, that's your city.
That's
you always
true.
pay taxes. It doesn't matter what the fuck happens, you're always paying taxes. And we're still paying taxes now on everything, on
Yes, we
McDonald's,
are.
on everything that we buy, we are still paying taxes. So it's time you get that money back, right? So I went to my
That's a brilliant strategy. Now it's my turn to write this down. I gotta type this down somewhere.
So I went to my city council and I made them my client. And my city council works with an agency that does all the images in the city, all the marketing about my city, all the marketing about Amsterdam, yada, 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 yada. So then that is when I work with an agency. I work with that agency. I work with an agency who works because of my client works with that agency, right? So my client is the city council and they work with that agency, so I work with that agency.
Yep.
So I have worked with agencies, but through a client.
Amazing. And this strategy, like you said just now, because you were literally born out of fire from the economic crisis of 2008, and now we're in a corona virus pandemic crisis of 2020, and well, 2020 is not just 2020 is a hot pot of craziness, right now it's just insane.
2020 is an interesting year.
2020 is like trying to tell the whole world, like, yeah, 2019 was bad. Wait till you see what I got in stuff for you guys, and it's still ongoing. We're only at the halfway mark, but you know how it is. I can't wait for November because we're gonna see whether the USA is finally making a change for better or for worse, I don't know. But
I don't know either.
yeah, it's like we are living off someone's gamble right now. But
Right?
yeah, exactly. But the thing is, you are prepared for these moments because you've encountered that and you learned from those experiences, and now it's applicable to what it is today. And I'm glad that you are still chugging along while some of us are still trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Your city council would probably be the best tip I can give anybody in the world.
Exactly.
I've given this story to a lot of people, but nobody seems to follow it. But I'm telling you, I've told this story over the past 5 years in my presentations. I've told
Yep.
them the city council or your government or whoever does whoever you pay your taxes to, that is your best client.
Yeah.
That is your best client in under any circumstance. It doesn't mean they have to be your client full time. I did this gig for them back in 2008 when the economic crisis started. I did a gig for them. They know me. They got to know me. I haven't talked to them or reached out to them in 15 years. 15 years went by like that, me doing fashion, never working for my city council again. Corona happens. I cried for like 2 weeks because the lockdown happened. I was sitting in the corner going, everything was gone. I had to cancel everything. I cried for 2 weeks, all the hard work. But after those 2 weeks, the first person I called was my city council. And the girl goes, Richard, I haven't heard of you in a while. Oh, my, we have this perfect project I was just looking for. I was like,
Wow.
there you go, right? So I knew exactly who to call, who had money, who I can pitch ideas and concepts to and things to kind of get it rolling off the ground. And I've been living off that ever since this started, right? So I'm still doing that now, doing all the city council jobs, doing different kind of
Fascinating
little tasks. Yeah, there you go. It's all about building a network, and that network, knowing who you are, being very given for that network. Because the only reason she gave me this is because I've helped before, because I've been there before, because she was in a predicament before, and I've dropped everything and helped her for free or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And it's only because of that relationship and doing that for a lot of people, when there is shit and you call, they're all there to help you as well.
Yep, agreed. So for those of you guys watching this right now, Monday, just so that you know, today's the last episode of the Amazing Live Show. Monday, I'm going to call my city council and I'm going to quit live streaming and, and I'm going to make
as
the
soon as
extra...
you get that gig, call me. I'm
Exactly.
flying over. I'm flying over to
Oh man, but no, I'm just kidding. But it's a good idea. So if you're watching right now, if you think that this is a viable idea for your own business solutions, because right now I understand a lot of photographers have lost their jobs, Richard here has provided a fantastic idea, because you know our government is we just had the general elections a couple of days ago, so you know they're probably planning for a lot more stuff.
Definitely, but it doesn't have to only be government. So I say government, but government isn't the only people who always
Agencies
have
that
money,
work with
right?
government as well.
There you go. The army
Yeah.
always have money. They always
Yep.
work for the government. There are a lot of people who work. There are a lot of in my city. I don't know how it is around the world, but in my country at least, every city has like a little pot that is used for creativity.
Yep.
So it's not a big pot. I mean, the big pots go to everything else, but creativity also gets like maybe 1 million or $500,000 that goes into the
Yeah,
pot.
they have a bit of budget
Not a
there
lot
as
of
well.
There you go. Not
Yep.
a lot of people know that this budget exists. Not a lot of people know that this budget is there. I found the people who work with these budgets. So every year, this 1 million comes out, and there are people who are using it.
Yep.
I found out who these people are who are using it. It's all public record because it's taxpayers' money, and you can see who uses taxpayers' money. And I contacted these people, and I made these people my friends. And these were like the agencies, the people with ideas who were using the money to do something interesting for the city.
Yep.
And getting to know these people and how they use these money, this is what you kind of need in your network for when economic crisis happens and weddings fall away and portraits fall away and you can't even see people face to face anymore. These are the people you need to be looking to. You can't even move out of your own house. So look at who lives in your city, who lives in your neighborhood, who are the people around me doing stuff. And you will find there are a lot of people around you doing a lot of amazing things. You just
Yep.
haven't met them yet. And
Yep.
as soon as you meet them, you start noticing you can do things together, and that's how you kind of help each other out.
Awesome.
And survive, I think.
Okay, Richard, I think your video camera did that freezing thing again. This time with
I
another
can see.
nice mugshot.
A very weird one. Can you still hear me though?
still stuck though.
Okay, go. I'll get it and reconnect.
Okay, so while doing that, let me just do a little bit of shout out about my Razor Tip stream again. So for those of you guys who are watching right now, if you guys want to show support for the Razor Tip stream, just in case your camera phone doesn't work, I'm just gonna get Friday to share the channels that you can show your support for this channel. And of course, you know, all these tips and donations that go through Razor Tip stream, if you use Razor Shots using Razor Gold to purchase Razor Shots to show support for the channel, you can actually Richard's making funny faces. I'm very distracted right now. You can actually, redeem Razor products using Razor Silver. And of course, all this is not necessary because if you want to, you can just hit the follow and subscribe button to show support for this channel, and I'm more than appreciative of that as well. Okay, so right now we actually have Richard back in the house. Yay! What happened there? Your camera decided to like go on a vacation.
No, I think I ticked my cable, the cable that runs through the cam link. I think I like hit it.
Oops. that happens. That happens. Yay for cam link.
Okay, cool.
Oh, so you're basically using a DSLR right now for your webcam as well.
Yeah. My Olympus. I'm using my Olympus through a cam link Elgato.
Shout out to Elgato. Both of us are using Elgato camera right now. It's awesome. Okay, so quick question. When you do your photography works, when you work on the post-processing part, we're going to talk a little bit more about the workflow as well, but I just want to get this out of the way because I'm very curious. Do you do your own retouching or do you hire an external retouching artist?
I do my own retouching. Like I said, I've been in Photoshop ever since I've been 2 years old.
Awesome.
So I do everything myself. I'm a Photoshopper. I love Photoshop. Well, I'm saying that I'm saying that wrong. I hate Photoshop, but I am a Photoshopper. It's the bane of my existence. I mean, I've been in it for like the past 35 years of my life. I think it feels like I was born with Photoshop. So I try not to be in it a lot. And that is also testament for, I mean, you said you want to dissect one of my PhDs, and I'll gladly run through a more complicated PhD with you.
Nice.
But most of my work is not Photoshop. I mean, it is Photoshop to a certain dodge and burn and a little bit of contrast way. I think my skill, or at least the skill that I've honed in on, was the skill that I was trying to learn from the get-go. I was trying to learn how to do toning and color grading. And I was trying to learn it for videography, but I kind of applied it to my photography. So the only real Photoshop skill that I have that is like different than what everybody else does, that would mean like the dodge and burn and the frequency separation or whatever, is the toning. I can feel and work with color very well in Photoshop and see color very well. And that's what I can create a mood that goes with the image very well. So, and that's not a lot of stats, it's not a lot of things. So there's not a lot kind of to really show besides, I Photoshop the basics, and other than that, it's all color grading and a lot of toning.
Right. So when we look at your proper workflow, the whole thing, when you do your photo shoots, can you share a little bit of the processes for creating those images, like from the conceptualizing, the storyboarding, the mood boarding, working with deciding on what props, what wardrobe to work with, who should you get for the makeup and hair, and what kind of look that you want to present? How do you set this all up?
To do that, I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
This. There we go. I'm gonna go through it very. I'm gonna try to go through it as fast as possible and as slow as possible. But I was shooting a lot of models in the studio, as you saw before, with like the designer friend of mine, Casper, and I was shooting a lot of gray backdrop, white backdrop, black backdrop. And I was bored. I didn't like it anymore. So I had to figure out a way to make that boring part a little bit more interesting. And the things that I found how to do it was like I used gels, I used color filters in front of my flashes to create a bit of a mood. That way I can change that white backdrop into something else. I use gobos. It's a go-between object. It creates a shadow. I showed you one with like the trees and the nature, but I'll show you another one in a few seconds. Or you can change the environment. Instead of a gray backdrop, you can build like a little set. This is also all testament to how my shoots go and are planned. For my color filters, I'll just show you a few color filter pictures. Like I said, I'm going to go through it really fast because you need to see it. I am going to talk about how my process is and how I concept.
Sure.
So this is all, I can color on my model, so I can color in the studio, I can color on location, so you can use a color on location to emphasize the location. You can use it as a backdrop, as an extra light. This is where I use the yellow gel to create like the background separation. Here an orange one. This is a girl sitting in front of a gray backdrop. I used the red gel on the gray backdrop. I used the green gel on her face. I used the yellow gel to emphasize these lights. So using 3 color gels, I create like a cafe kind of mood and scene. So this is all you can do with like lighting, all to get rid of the gross, boring gray backdrop.
Yes, indeed.
There you go. So besides color gels, we had the gobos, the go-between objects. This was the one I just showed you with the trees.
Lovely.
This is like a little, how do you call it?
Jungle sort.
A basket, yeah. No, this is a basket.
Oh,
I put like a basket on my flash, and
nice.
it shoots through the basket. Here you can see my gobo. I needed a church, and here you can see the plywood, the triplex plywood that I use as backdrops.
Yes.
So this is the wood. This is the studio. I needed like a church, and the church has like little stainless glass, so glass with like colored paper in it. So I took like a piece of reflector, I cut it into church stainless. I put like a kite paper on there, and I got like a backdrop stainless glass in the backdrop.
Oh, that's brilliant.
This, how I kind of use gobos to create the work. How the idea goes, I can't draw for shit, so I do draw, I just can't draw for shit. So let's see, do I have a gross ass drawing in here somewhere? I should.
Oh, those gobos look fantastic. So you make custom gobos?
Yeah, there you go, definitely. So this is how I draw.
Oh, lovely.
So, I had an idea that I wanted a girl inside a room that was holding an umbrella, and the room was raining. So we have like a girl inside the room is raining, it's black, and she's holding an umbrella. This was my concept.
Yep.
Then I figured, okay, I'm on the second floor with my studio. If I make it rain inside my studio, the first floor will probably hate me. So let's skip that part. Let's not make it rain inside the studio without like redirecting the rain downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
How can I make a triptych? How can I make something that still works? So I figured out I'll make a triptych. I'll make a 3-part image. One that is very dry. So it's very dry, it's brown. I wrote down dry, brown, ugly, worn down.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have like the rain shot, the one that we're skipping. So it's a rain shot, and after rain comes the sunlight. So we have a sunbeam. I wanted a light beam. I wanted like little flowers, and I want my model to sit between the flowers. So we have dead, dying brown, and we have lush green, happy.
Yep.
Next, I take my wood, my triplex wood. I built like a little room.
Wow.
So I built like a little brown room. I painted it brown. This was shot with my phone. It is brown. It's not the pinkish color it has. I built a green room. I built a brown room. And for about a week, I keep filling the brown room. So everything in the brown room, everything that I find that is brown, I find leaves, I find twigs, I find whatever I find that is brown, I put it into the brown room. Then the next week after that, I start filling the green room. Everything I can find that is green, I start filling into the green room. I start picking up flowers, start picking up trees. Everything I find around me that is green, I put in for a whole week. Mm-hmm. So my city council has like these flower pots outside into the city. I pay taxes, so those flowers are mine. So I kind of stole those flowers from the flower pots. And I put them into my studio. Anywho, then we need like a model. So I filled the brown box, I filled the green box. I needed a model. The model asked me like, what do you want me to wear? Mm-hmm. And I have like one model, I didn't want 2 models. And because of the contradiction, because of the dead and dying and the green and lush, I wanted also the contradiction in her clothing. So I said, bring black and white. What's a bigger contrast between black and white than black and white, right?
Yep.
So she brought a black dress. This is what it looks like in my studio. She brought a white dress. I photographed them both, and I photoshopped them together because it's the same girl. And then you kind of wind up with this.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
This is pretty much how a concept goes with me from beginning to end.
Am I right to say that this is one shot?
It's 2 shots. It's one shot of the brown box and one shot of the green shot, but yeah, stitched together because it's the same girl.
Oh, okay.
So I shot this.
Lovely.
And then I shot that, and then I stitched them together.
This is just phenomenal.
But this is what I do. This is how I concept. This is how I think of ideas. This is how I kind of, I go to paper, I draw something stupid, and from that drawing, kind of something else comes out of, hopefully, that looks a little bit more interesting. Or, like this, I leave it to circumstance. Here I went urbexing with a friend of mine. We went to Belgium. We went to like an old building and we went urbexing. So we went in there with the whole team.
Yep.
Brought in the gear, did the picture. Fireworks in my country is illegal, but as soon as you hit the border in Belgium, it's legal. I know that Laura Sheridan lives there, so she has like all the smoke bombs and fireworks. So as soon as we hit like the border, we buy fireworks, we buy smoke. If you use a smoke bomb inside a building, you get like these thick clouds. You can see it. This is all shot with my phone. Mm-hmm. But if you wait a few seconds after these thick clouds like kind of settle, you get this. And then you grab your DSLR, and then you get this. So when I say I don't Photoshop, I mean I don't Photoshop. I try to do this in cam, where I am, on the place. I have the raw file somewhere. There's the raw file.
So brilliant.
Would it go to the raw? This is no wait. Shit, it doesn't. No, I thought I had the raw for you. Can I see it if I zoom out? No. I usually have the raw file with this one as well. So you can see that there's no Photoshop. You can see that there's pretty much, it's this. I kind of cropped it a little bit, but it's the same image. Other than that. So these are kind of the two ways that I work from circumstance. I work either from a concept, an idea. I draw. I bring in the people. We shoot it, or we go to a place. I get inspired. We do something, and this comes out.
And it's just that, you know, when you look at the behind the scenes shots, you didn't expect the final output to be that mind blowing.
What it is.
Yeah, it's amazing how you actually derive the concept through your storyboarding. I mean, you mentioned that you can't draw, but the idea, the concept. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. You have an idea that is penned down, and then to see it transform into what it is as a process, or rather the final image after all the post processing and all that, and even then you mentioned that whatever you see there, it's pretty much in camera, so that the tweaking is just very minimal, and it just shows what a visionary you are. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Nah, it just shows how lazy I am, and I don't want to be photoshopping. I don't want to be photoshopping all day. I just rather do it with the people around me and have like a fun day first.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel quite jealous of people like you, because the amount of time spent to do composites, like oh man, I was just talking to Renee already. It's crazy the amount of time spent on editing.
And in return, I am jealous about you guys, because every now and then my brain goes like, I really need to compose this like together in an image, and I kind of know how to do it, but because I don't want to sit in Photoshop all fucking day, I don't. So I'm like, no.
I know, right? I get what you mean, and I totally wish I have access to locations like yours, where we can actually do everything in camera, but Singapore is just. We are too sterile here. It's just too clean. We can't even have smoke bombs or anything like that. Yeah. And do you have some idea of how long it takes to complete the entire shoot from the start, including the pre-conceptualization, right to the end after post-processing? How long is the time frame required for any of these projects?
It really depends per project. I couldn't give you an exact time frame for every project. I've done this project within 6 hours of conceiving the idea, right? Within knowing the idea, 12 o'clock at night, and going out 6 o'clock in the morning to execute that idea. That's every now and then. That's the time frame we're working with, and we need to work with. So I have no problem realizing it from concept to idea in 6 hours, 4 hours. Oh. And I have no problem, like with the box that I created, that I took like a whole week to fill one box, then took another week to fill one box. Actually took the time to, while you're building the box, the idea kind of rolls in your head. You do tests, you test again, and you work towards it that way. Both ways kind of work for me. I don't have like it can be a 1 month from idea to picture. It can be 6 hours from idea to picture.
So
it really
varies
on the people, the team, and the idea.
Yeah. And could you share a little bit of the behind the scenes for the PSD files behind some of your shots? Because this is one thing that I would love to see, like the magic behind your images. Yeah.
I really hope that the computer kind of.
Let's try. May the force be with us then.
Yeah, exactly. Let the force. May the force be
with us. Oh, and hi, Eric Dinadi, who just joined in from Indonesia. He is one of the more cooler guys out there that I've met in Indonesia. He's a fantastic automotive and interior photographer as well. Yep. So he just says hi with a cat with a sunglasses on.
Hi.
Yep.
It's loading.
Sure, no problem.
Almost there. 10 seconds.
Oh man, it's really cool to just see your works being taken apart in a PSD file, because normally when we see your works, it's just the it's done, right?
It's the final image. Yeah,
the final image.
You definitely
exactly.
want to see what I've been tinkering at. Let me see. Switch this up to make it a little bit faster.
8. The PSD file is kind of shy.
Oh, definitely. It's not. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I already tried to like make it a little bit smaller.
How
Yeah.
big is your file?
Again, it's same as the other one. It depends. The one I'm working now is 2 gigs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The one I'm going to show you guys, and I had another one, and I'm going to show you 2 files. I'm going to show you one of a more studio portrait concept type things that I shot with Renee. Actually, she was in the same studio with me at the same time. And there's another one I'm going to show you, which is a photo stitch of like 4 images.
Right.
And then edit. These are, like I said, these are the more extreme edits that I've done over the years. Because if you look at my normal pictures, believe me, there's not much to see. I try to do a minimal as possible.
Sure. While waiting for the PSDs to load, I just want to talk a little bit about how you sometimes model for other photographers as well. So I saw your wonderful shot that was taken by Rini. You're like this badass warlock. Yeah. It looks so cool.
Yeah, totally not my idea.
But you look so awesome. You look so awesome in that one. Because when I looked at it, I was like, wow, you look like a real life warlock.
But Renee is like a fucking badass. That's all.
Oh yeah, she is.
Jeez. So this is my PSD. This is the shot I'm talking about. I don't even know why there's a duplicate background in here, but anyway.
I love how you left the names of the layers as the defaults.
Oh gee, no. Let's not even go there. So let's turn it all off.
Yeah.
First thing I've done is like this studio had like these door hinges sticking out on the top. See them? So the first thing I do is like I remove the door hinges.
Yep.
With the basic dodge and burn. I mean not dodge and burn. I mean clone and healing brush.
Yep.
Next thing I do is I do the face retouching, but Lara's skin is smooth as fuck, so she usually doesn't need a lot of retouching.
Such a blessing to work with models who actually have flawless skin.
Alright.
Yeah.
I switch a lot through very bright views to see if I have everything, if I'm not missing anything in my corners, in my dark corners. Then I went into what looks like dodge and burn.
Yep.
So here on the chest part, it's a little bit light, so I made that a little bit darker to bring the focus back to the face.
Yep.
So I always try to bring the light and focus back to the face by kind of burning in the lighter things outside of the face.
Yep.
The wings, they have been a little bit too dark, so I've dodged them into a little bit more brighter. It's the dodge and burn part. The under chin, so made the chin a little bit darker to give it a little bit more 3D effect, to emphasize a little bit more. That's the chin part.
Oh, even the details on the arms, arm guards.
Yeah, definitely. Even the arm guard, the blackness of the arm guards, did that a little bit as well.
I just gotta say this, the costume here, it's absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
But Veritas, her costumes are freaking amazing. I don't know how she does it, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing woman. Added the special effects. This was one of the packs from DIY photography.
Yep.
The lighting particles. Masked her out. I didn't mask her out completely. So every now and then I leave some of the spots in front of her.
Yep.
And a few behind her. This just gives the effect, make the effect a little bit more better.
Yep.
I don't know which one I used. It's either one. I usually use one of them. So I used one of these. Tried some a little extra fire, but it didn't work. I left it in there. Apparently, you should have deleted it. But this is how I try different types. I go black and white, see if I got everything, see if my contrast is a little bit good. And then I go into the toning, as I said, right?
Yep.
I kind of go into the curvature. Let's delete this, delete that, turn it all off. First thing I do usually is I drop the saturation by creating a black and white layer. So I create a channel mixer, black and white, do 25%. Next up, we get the usual properties here. Get the usual curves. Make everything a little bit darker. From the curves, I go to level adjustments. Here, I grab the blue channel, dropped it down in the highlights, raise the blue channel in the low light. So this is how I color tone a lot. Raise the shadows, the blues in the shadows, drop the highlights, and then and then in the RGB, pull it a little bit more for a little bit contrast. Then I add like a little gradient mask around to lighten it up a little bit. And I add a little color from the color gel. So here's the pink color gel, here's the purple color gel. I add a little pink and purple in the two top parts.
A little bit of a hazy look right there.
There you go. And then finally, one more time, the big contrast on top of everything.
Nice.
So that's what I do. I usually curves and gradients, adjustment layers is what I do. So curves, adjustment layers, brushes. I don't do really dodge and braid a little bit. I'm gonna open the second file. This one should already be small sized and be easier to open. It's this one.
Sure. And I like how your Photoshop is very light in terms of having plugins.
Oh yeah. I try to keep it light.
Yeah.
So this is a little bigger one. This is a stitch.
Oh.
So I've shot it. You can see it.
It's like the total opposite of the Last Supper.
Yep.
What do you call this?
That's pretty much the idea.
First breakfast? No.
Last Supper. So here we go. Photo number 1, photo number 2, photo number 3, 4, 5. So this is where I shot it. Then I had to clean the background, of course. So I had to clean the backdrop. The concept is a black Last Supper.
Oh.
Clean the backdrop. Add a little highlight on everybody. Make everything a little lighter. I wanted to make it the same tone as the backdrop. So I made them a little lighter to come over it. Drop the backdrop. This was all pretty much fixing backdrops, fixing the color of the backdrop and the backdrop, getting it all even. And once I had that, it all goes back into the toning that I said. So I'm gonna close this all off. I'm gonna bring it here. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So you can pretty much see what the toning does.
Yep.
Let's see, I'll take the color lookup. I'll put the properties next to it.
So you also create your LUTs as well for
Yeah.
your images. Custom ones.
This is a self-created LUT. It's a little bit of grayish. It makes it a little bit more green. And I usually don't use it at full power. I use it like very, very low. So it's like a base plate I work with.
Yep.
I'm making these types of images. Then I add like a red exclusive layer on top of it. Exclusion layer. This adds the red in the shadows. After that, I add my usual curve, the usual S curve to create the contrast. That's when it gets, is there oomph?
Yeah. Can see it's punchier now.
Yeah. Curves is my jam.
Yeah.
I go as flat as possible and then the curves kind of, and then I add another curve, add a little bit more oomph.
You know, I hear a very funny secret.
What's the secret?
You've known me for 4 years. I discovered curves only last year.
No!
No, I'm not kidding.
What?
I'm not kidding you. All my previous works, I had never worked with curves.
What? How could you not curves like curve? How could you not? How could you open Photoshop and not work
Exactly.
with curves, man?
Exactly.
You're a composite guy. How could you not work with curves? How the fuck do you do that?
I know, right? You know, whenever I tell this to people, people get shocked. They
No
thought that,
shit, eh?
you know, yeah, I'm not kidding you. I was just literally creating layers after layers, and I only discovered about curves only last year.
What, dude? This is gonna change your life.
Yeah, it did. Changed everything, and I only discovered masking in 2017.
What? How the hell have you been making this cool shit?
I don't know. You know, if I were to tell this to Renee or Ben, I think everyone would just flip at me right now.
No shit, eh? Fuck, you know.
Yeah, I
That's
totally
pretty much it.
revamped the way I work after I met you
Yeah.
guys. So it was
No
quite
shit, eh?
a slow journey for me. But yeah.
I'm happy you're here. Welcome into the curve, buddy.
Yes. Thank you. And I love this shot because you can see the draw, the contrast. It's really punchy.
Yeah, definitely. And again, this is pretty much me going through my Photoshop file. It's not a lot, and these are like the bigger Photoshop files, but mostly it's just the top part. Mostly it's just the color grading part,
Yep.
and a little bit of contrast, a little bit of dodge and burn, and done and done.
Yeah. And I can't help but ask, was that shot that you just shared with us controversial? Did it create some controversy?
For one, it hasn't been published yet, so
Ah.
I don't know if there's a controversy around it. You guys have you have my first, I call it intake on the picture. There you go.
We have a
But-
premiere.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
It has been shot in Curacao,
Mm-hmm.
so where I was born and raised, right? So it's a Curacao image created with a Curacao designer, a good friend of mine. All the people in the pictures are friends of mine.
Yep.
We created it for the controversy. But not specifically the black or white discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of an all-inclusive discussion because there's a lot of gay rights where I live that aren't being met yet either. And this designer is very open towards everything and gays and blacks and whites and showing the diverseness of the place where we live. It's an island. It's a Caribbean island. There's a lot of black people, but there's a lot of white people, Hispanic people, Chinese, Asian people there as well. And that's what you see in the image. It's the diverse group of the people living on the island and how we are on the island together.
Yep.
Gay, not gay, straight, anything all together. One big happy family. So this
That's
is
awesome.
what
That's awesome.
picture says. But we know it's going to bring a little bit of controversy when we publish it, so we're waiting to see what that will be once we publish it.
I think it might, but I'm really glad that you guys have done this because it's a nice window to open up to and have a very good discussion over because right now with the whole world in turmoil, especially in the USA because of certain movements, not just the BLM movement, but a lot of other people clamoring for rights and stuff, even the right to live right now because of the coronavirus. I think it's good that we not hide this under the rug anymore. It's better to actually put it out there and tell people that, hey, these are talking points we need to address. These are things that we need to consider because they are happening. We cannot close one eye to them anymore. And I think speaking of all this controversy, recently Vanity Fair has got their own fair share of criticism because of what they've done. I think Annie Leibovitz shot the sports lady Biles, I think. But following that, there is a movement calling for more diversity, and I think in some ways Vanity Fair has actually shared more things that are showing that they have put all those criticism into consideration because they hired their first black photographer to do a photo shoot, and I think this is a good the right step in terms of moving towards diversity. So in terms of fashion photography these days, what are your thoughts on them? Because for a moment there, even in Asia, there is always that idea that fair is more beautiful than dark. Yeah. So very touchy.
Yeah. well, what I said before about fashion, right? It's not. Fashion finds you, so you need to constantly. You need to be the one that makes sure that you are inclusive enough and make sure that you have the diverse group that represents the people you like to represent. And I mean, it's all very personal to you. I didn't feel like I needed to shoot a lot of black people, but it's because I'm from a black country, right? To me, seeing the European people was more exotic than seeing the black people because it wasn't what I grew up with. So I would shoot in the beginning of my career, I would shoot a lot of European people more versus my own culture. And now that I've been here for a longer time, I'm slowly shooting more of my own culture and showing that part because I feel obligated that being one of them, I know I can get a little bit deeper, I can get a little bit more personal, I know a little bit more about them. It's up to me to even show that to the world as well. But I wouldn't put that responsibility on anybody that lives there or is from there. It's
Yep.
just something you have to feel for yourself if it's something you want to bring out or not. It is something to think about, especially also with the same with in the past 10 years, photography has been a mainly men-dominated
Oh yes.
ecosystem.
Yep.
And I've seen it change in the past 2 years to almost, not 50% yet, but it's very 75-25% male women now. If I walk into a convention now and I look around, I see 4 girls on stage and 1 guy in the corner talking. While 10 years ago it was like 5 men
All guys,
standing
yeah.
on stage talking. And it's something that we had to actively think about and include. And I think this is something, now that we're talking about, it's going to be something that we're actively going to think about and include. And I hope that in a few years, hopefully, it's not something we have to think about anymore, and it will just
Yeah.
be 50% male, 50% women, and a diverse group of people.
Hopefully it'll be the
representing,
norm. Yep.
Yeah,
Hopefully it'll be the norm.
there you go.
Because you know, to see how people I mean, in the community alone on internet, I mean, I don't really know them personally, but I do see there's a lot of female retouching artists, female photographers as well. Lara Jade, Natalie Tefferell, Bella Kotek,
Oh, definitely.
who else? Emily Teague. So many, you know, very talented individuals who rise to the occasion, and you know, this is the best part. They can outdo or do as much as what men can do, and there's no telling what else they can do, because they are only limited by their own vision. They can go far. It's amazing. You know, like, you know, this is a very funny story, because when I was working with Phase One, a lot of the guys were complaining. I mean, the photographers were complaining. You know, this camera is too heavy and all that. And then I was like, okay, sure. Then I play a video. This Bella Kota, she's holding the Phase One with just one hand. You know,
And Bella isn't that big of a girl.
exactly. She's compact size, right? And it just shows that, you know, women out there, you guys can do as much as we men can do as well, and we men have a lot to learn from women as well. I mean, we all can learn one another. I think
I think also a lot of people already knew this, and this was a given for a lot of people. But it's good to see like the companies actively
Oh, yes.
pursuing and making them ambassadors as well, and putting them on stage as well, and then giving them a platform to have that equal, like I said, to have that equal share opportunity for everybody.
Yes.
When you walk into a convention and you see 50%, and everybody feels represented.
Yep. And I think that's beautiful. And speaking of diversity, because you travel quite a fair bit for work and have met many people, this allows you to experience different cultures and experience different you know, lifestyles and stuff like that. But other than that, what have you learned from your travel so far?
That I hate traveling? No. I hate sitting in a plane.
Oh, I can relate to that. Yes.
What have I learned? I've learned so much. I mean, I've learned every country is not as bad as the media makes it out to be. You cannot judge a country by what you see in the media. You can't judge a country by what you read on the internet. You got to go to a country and judge for yourself how the people are and how the country is. I've been, how you call it, silenced and wronged so many times by having prejudges by myself, right? It's all in my brain.
Yep.
By having prejudged a place or somewhere I went that was like total opposite, and I should have been more open to that. So I think all the traveling and meeting all these people, I've learned that you should be open for everybody and everything, and not judge a place by what you read or see or you know, get manipulated to think about. Just judge it for yourself, and until you've gone there and seen it, you can judge about it. You can speak about it.
That's true.
And
That's true.
that's one of the greater lessons I've had from
And
going
speaking of traveling, when are you planning to come over to Singapore so we can hang out?
Oh, we need to do that, man.
We need to do that,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. I've been to Rwanda, and Rwanda has been claiming to be the Singapore of Africa. So everywhere I went
Really?
to Rwanda, yeah, and they are.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong. I've been there, so everybody's like, yeah, we want to be the Singapore of Africa, and that's what they achieve to be as well. And now that I've tasted Rwanda, I really want to taste what Singapore is.
Oh, well,
because all these people are like, we need to be like Singapore. We need to be. I'm like, okay, now I need to know what Singapore is like.
Once you know the coronavirus is over, hopefully they'll find a vaccine or a cure for it, and travel restrictions are removed. Because right now, if you travel in to Singapore, you'll be stuck somewhere in a government facility for 2 weeks. So it's not a good time to come over here. But let me know, hit me up, and I'll bring you around, and I'll introduce you to some of the local delicacies. People have been saying that Singapore is a perfect country. To be honest, it's not that perfect, but it's as close as you can get to a conceivable utopia. There's still racism. There's still issues with race and region and things like that. But somehow we do learn to get along because we are on a small island. Can't walk down 10 feet without hitting someone. It's crazy. Yeah. So
I get you.
yeah, so you also travel a fair bit and you also run a lot of workshops. In fact, just now you shared a small glimpse of probably one of the presentations for your workshops, and I think this is something really interesting. So I'm just gonna show the folks at home a short trailer of one of your workshops. I think this was in December last year, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think
December
so.
last year. Okay, let's take a look. Wow, you make BTS videos look really cool, even for workshops. Yeah. Just to check with you, when it comes to workshops, how big is the group normally?
Nowadays it's max 7 people, and that's a max. I usually run around 6 people.
I think it's better to have a smaller group because you have more time to spend with them as an instructor. But it's very interesting because right now I see a lot of photographers actually going to the idea of setting up workshops or even running seminars and things like that, and it's very, very comforting to know this because to be honest, before I met you guys, before I met Ben, before I met Renee, in Singapore we don't really have that kind of culture. We don't. It's very rare. We have seen photographers here who are, like I said, lone wolves. They do not like to share their knowledge, or like if I were to teach you something, I'll teach you only about 60%, so you can't take over me. But you guys are refreshing because you really go in and really teach, from the top right to bottom.
I think it stems from because it's the internet who taught us.
Mhm.
Everything I know I've gotten from talking to people like Ben, like Renee. I've gotten from talking to the community. I've gotten from people who wanted to share. I've asked a lot of people, and a lot of old people always said like, "No, we don't want to share." You've had a lot of lone wolves in that generation as well, and it was hard to learn. And then the economic crisis hit, and everybody knew about business kind of went away. So everybody who was making the big money was like, no, we're not going to tell you our secrets because these are our secrets and there's not enough of the pie to share. But we, as like new starting people, we were like making our own road and finding our own way, and in finding that way, sharing it with each other, we've learned that this is the only way to grow together, right? And there's enough fish in the sea, and you shouldn't be a lone wolf. There's enough bread for everybody. I have like 20 photographers living around me. I don't see them, they don't see me. We all have money, and it's fine. Yep. So we noticed that it was way more empowering to share with each other and be on the same level and learn from each other than it was to be a lone wolf. And because I'm from that generation, I think from that specific group of people, Patrick was in there, Von Wong, Renee, we're all in the same, that's where it comes from. I think that's why we all have that same drive to give everything that we know and everything that we have, just to be there with everybody, right? Let's go there together.
Spectacular, because like we said, you come from a generation where people are willing to give back to the community. I mean, like 10 years ago, if I were to do a live stream, if live stream even exists back then, in this state, I don't think I'll be able to get anyone on my show to share anything at all, because the concept.
I'm pretty sure you would.
It's very rare. And how often do you run your workshops?
I mean, now with Corona, I don't anymore, and I've slowly stopped running public workshops as well. I now only run private workshops,
Right.
and that has mostly to do unless I travel, right? So I still travel for workshops. I've recently done one in Canada. Right before Corona hit in November, I was with Renee in Canada and I did a workshop with her over there.
Yep.
So I still do them outside of the country, but inside my country, Holland isn't that big of a country, and after doing 10 years of workshops, I pretty much have had everybody. They were, I only were getting like people that had been in my workshop before and they just wanted like a new concept or a new model to shoot. So that's why they were keep coming anyway. And then I said like, look, I'm not a shoot event. I'm here to either teach. And once I've taught you everything I know, you can still give me your money and come and shoot, but it's not fun for me anymore. So I stopped like doing the group workshops inside my own country because I've had everybody, and outside of my country I still do them. I think it's like now to maybe once a month, 2 times a month I still do a lecture or a workshop around the world. And the one-on-one workshops I do them like 2-3 times a month. I mean, I have a lot of people sitting here in the studio, and it's way more satisfying doing that as well, because I can see their progression. I can help them one-on-one with their progression, and I can get them where they need to be when they started. So I'm way more into helping somebody getting where they need to be instead of just giving all my information and then sending you off home and you're going like, oh, what the hell did I just hear and what happened, right? So I'm way more into the guiding process now of getting people to where they actually need to be versus a global workshop. But again, once a month I still do those group workshops. Yeah.
And so when you first started out, when do you think that you were ready to be an instructor for a workshop? Because it's a very interesting question, I think, because we have heard of people complain about how people who have not baked in their own knowledge of photography and just go out there because they just want to earn a quick buck, and then they leave a lot of dissatisfied students. But in your case, how you know when you're ready?
I don't think if you ever know if you're ready, but let's say first, I come from a line of teachers, right? So my mom, my dad, they're all teachers.
Wow.
So I've been raised in like a very teaching kind of way. So I have very strict parents who are very, that. And so I've been brought up being explained a lot. So I've learned how to explain things.
Yep.
But that's not when I started doing a workshop, because I don't want to be my parents. I despise that. So I was like trying not to be a teacher, but people were asking me to show them my trick.
Right.
When I had 10 people in my inbox asking me, Richard, can you show me how you do it? I would say, you know what? I don't know shit about photography, but if the 10 of you want to know what the fuck I do, just come, give me the money, and I'll show you what I do. And this has been my workshop from day one. From day one, as soon as I start my workshop, I say, look, I don't have an education in this shit. I don't know nothing about this shit. If you want to know anything you want to know, you got to go to somebody else, because they probably know way more than me. But if you want to know how I do things and how I've learned to do things and how I do the things how I do them, I can show you this easily. I can show you what I do. I cannot teach you photography because I don't know shit about photography, but I can show you how I do it. And that's what have been my workshop from day one, showing people how I do it and showing them how easy it is to get it done yourself as well. Showing how easy it is to you don't have to think of a million things. It doesn't have to be that hard. You can easily do everything you want by yourself.
Yep.
So that.
And that was a very wonderful tip. I can imagine myself going up to one workshop that I'm going to run and just go like, hi guys, I only know about curves 2 years ago.
It's seriously. I wouldn't do it in every culture, because if I go back home to Curacao, if I say that, they kind of kill me. So I wouldn't do that either. They're like, what is this guy gonna tell me if he doesn't know anything, right?
Exactly. It's very strange how certain limitations can trash up your own reputation in a glance.
Oh, definitely. I remember I did like for Smugmug in London. I think I showed like one bloody birthday selfie and like half of the room walked off, and like, okay, so don't do bloody selfies in the UK. Got it. Because when I do them in my country, in the Netherlands, people like laugh and they love it, like here they're like it's way more accepted and normal here in like a photography to have like a bloody selfie. But in the UK, they were like, what the hell is this? And they just walk out like, okay, cool. So now I know
a few £1,000 just come here and watch you talk about your own birthday selfie. Yeah, bye.
Exactly.
Oh,
and it's bloody, ew, gross, I'm leaving.
Oh, man. But must be very heartbreaking to see the people walk out, I guess. Yeah.
It was interesting. To me, it's always motivating to see when they walk off, especially
Oh, really?
where they walk off,
Wow.
to kind of solve that problem and to come back next year and do it again and make sure they don't walk off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to say I had another chance at it and they didn't walk off the second time.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
let's just talk a little bit about the state of business of photography now. What would you say that I'm pretty sure this happens a lot everywhere else. I mean, so far it's a common problem in this part of Asia. Photographers and retouching artists who undercut one another, and they do this to get clientele with offers of cutthroat prices and to stay in the game. Any thoughts on this that you could share? Because this is a prevalent issue that a lot of people always bring up to me, and they ask me like, "What are your thoughts on it?" And I have my own ideas on this, but I just want to hear from your side as well.
If the client picked somebody else on top of you because of the money, it wasn't your client to begin with.
Oh wow, lovely! I love that quote. I'm gonna jot it down somewhere. This is lovely. It makes a lot of sense.
So
yeah.
So if the client asks you for an estimate, you tell the client it's 2,000 euros. Somebody else comes, the client asks them an estimate, they say it's 1,000 euros, and they pick that person. They pick the person based off of money. And as soon as you're in that eco space, you're never going to win because there's always going to be somebody cheaper than you.
Yeah.
My clients pick me because of me. There is no other fucking Richard. There is no other motherfucker who can bring you the coffee, give you the ecstasy, give you the fun, loving party.
Yep.
My clients pick me. So whatever money I ask, even if I ask 10,000 euros, 5,000 euros, $1 million, they will pay that money because they want me. I've sold me. So I say this to everybody who is battling on the money front. You're battling a wrong losing battle. Figure out who you are, figure out what your word is, figure out what's your word that you add to the project, and as soon as you make this clear to the client will always pick you above anybody else.
Fantastic. And let's say you have difficult clients. Have you ever encountered any of those that, somehow halfway through the project maybe something didn't go in the way that you find reasonable, perhaps? How will you deal with that?
This is very easy. So I've worked for a boss for 5 years. So I've worked in IT for 5 years, up until I was 25 or 26. I had to work on projects I didn't want to work on. We had to work on clients we didn't work on. You had to solve IT problems. You know how IT problems are.
Yes. Have you tried to solve the computer?
I had to solve IT problems. And there's nothing more shitty than having to put a smile on your face and tell a stupid ass person to go to start my computer, motherfucker. My computer.
No.
So
like
in starting my own company,
Yeah.
The only requisite, the only thing I wrote down in paper, my only business model, the only thing that was on paper was make money, work with people you like. And if anywhere in that project I don't like you, I give you your money back and I fire you.
Lovely.
So if anywhere in that project you turn out to be a motherfucker, I'm like, here's your money, fuck you, go find somebody else.
Nice.
And I've done this a lot.
Oh man,
I have fired so many clients, but that means that right now I have a client base around me. I said Corona hit, I call somebody, and I got work. It's done.
Right.
They know me, they know who I am, they support me. This would never happen with somebody who's fighting on budgets, who's fighting on, oh, he's 10 euros. I don't need Richard. Richard's like 20. I need like 10 euros. You, come, 20 euros. Next year, you're like 5 euros. Oh, fuck you. I'll take the 5 euro, right? You don't want that client. Believe me, that client will never change and will always be looking for somebody cheaper than you. Even when they find you, they will find somebody cheaper than you for the next project.
That's
don't
a very
fight
fantastic
in that
tip.
battle.
Yeah. And I think this is one of those hard truths that not many photographers actually share. Or even know about, but I think this is truly inspiring because I've never heard of photographers firing their clients before.
Oh hell yeah, I can't fire clients.
Oh,
or I just say
man.
no. Like over the years, you kind of get like you know when it's happening, you know when they're a motherfucker. So I've told people like, no, I'm not gonna do your project. They're like, but it's 10,000 euros. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking do your project. I don't like your attitude. And they would like go away and actually come back after a month with like a better attitude and ask me again. They'll go like, yeah, okay, so we understand that what we did like a month ago was like very
that 1
very
month in the
wrong.
monastery changed their
We
perspective.
still want you. we still want you. We still want you on our project. So this is what I mean with people have to want you, and it shouldn't be a battle about money.
Yep.
So even when you tell them you're a motherfucker and you fire them, that they adjust their attitude to come back towards you and like be able to do the project anyway.
And I
And
guess,
if not, then bye.
yeah, and I guess in a sense, you are somehow helping the photography community as a whole by making better clients out there through education. You know, it's
I don't know because I still see people like catering towards those shitty clients, and then they come crying into my inbox like, "What do I do? What do I do?" I was like, "You fucking fired them. What do you mean? What do you do? Of course you fire your fucking clients. You give them the money, you say, fuck you, fuck off, and you fire them. Done. Why was that so hard to comprehend?"
Oh man, that's a very hardcore way of approaching, but I love it. I absolutely love
There
it.
you go.
And now we also have you know, in terms of marketing, you actually did say you present yourself as a brand by itself. You know, you people know you for who you are and how you work, and I guess this really helps with I don't know, taking out the clients that you wouldn't want to work with in the first place, and that actually really does a lot of put things into perspective for myself. I mean, I don't know about the viewers at home, but for me, it's like you created a brand with your own name and face to it, so people know that this is Richard Terborg. We cannot mess up with him. It's not about the money. It's about
it's also not about the project, right? So
Yeah, it's about-
people
exactly.
call me for my network. People call me for connections. People call me
Exactly.
to talk about their project. Even if I'm not the photographer to shoot the project, they know they can call me, trust me. They go like, "Richard, we got this thing. It's this and this and this. We don't know what to do." And I'm like, "Hey, you got to talk to that guy. Call him. Forget this. Good luck. Bye." Right? So being that person, you kind of turn into that person, knowing your skills, knowing who you are, knowing what you can bring to the table that is uniquely yours, and then I put it on steroids, I put it online, and I brought it to my clients, and I brought it to people.
And this goes back to what you said earlier in the show, where you actually said that you don't need an agency to work with because you are your own agency, and now it
Exactly.
makes total sense. I truly
There you go.
understand that.
There you go. Now you understand that I sell myself, and all those agencies goes like, "Why is that Richard going away with my client?" Well, we were the agency. It's like, no, I'll turn into the agency.
You
I
are
am
the agency. You are the agency. And
Exactly.
it's really great to see that you know you've soared so far ahead within a span of a decade or so, considering that you started out as an IT engineer and this is who you are now. It's amazing.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
crazy. It's very
Yeah.
crazy. And this is where all the energy and the fun and laughter comes from, right?
Yep.
Being able to do things and work with fun people and having people around me that are fun and cool and not depressing makes me this happy person.
And you do a lot of collaboration work with people. So my next question is to you: which photographer do you hope to work with someday?
Oof.
Uh-huh.
That's there's a long list of people I would love to work with.
Oh, wow. Top five, maybe top five. Or top three.
I don't know, man. I cannot single out. You know, there are people that I adore and look up to. And working together to me isn't really working together with other photographers. I think the people I would love to work with, I mean, there's a very good set designer in this country called Claudi. I would really love to work with that guy. He makes like amazing sets and with like amazing details. So that's one of the people I would really love to work with. And besides that, I do love visiting my friends and talking to them, right? Talking about where they are, what they're doing. So to me, working together with Renee, with Ben, with like the people around me, seeing Patrick again, seeing Bella again, all these people around me are my inspiration and the people I love to hang out with and talk to and work with. So the more I can hang out with them, the better it is for me, my craft, my brain, and everything else. So my inspiration comes from there, and I don't really have like specific people like I want to work with that guy or do a project with that one. I just want to be with my friends, meet more new people, meet more same thinking people, and kind of move forward together, right?
Yep. And now very quickly, you did mention earlier that you have a project that's ongoing right now with one of your buddies. Could you just share a little bit more about that? And I promise you, this is the last leg of the question before we wrap up for the evening.
I'm thinking because right now I'm doing like 60 projects at one time. What project was I doing with my buddy?
You messaged me like I think last night. It was a
Mango.
last meeting.
There you go.
Let me see.
It's the Mango project.
Mango Ice Photography.
Hey.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I got this
What's
one,
that about?
This one I gotta share. So let's go. Mango Eyes Photography. a few years ago, I think about 5-6 years ago, me and a couple of friends, we came together. It was me, Adrian, and Ronald, and we're sitting in Spain somewhere drinking whiskey all night. And we
Good life.
we exactly, we're drunk as fuck. And we kind of that's when we figured out that we all wanted to stop doing workshops. Not stop doing workshops, but like I said, we've kind of reached the limits of the people that you can teach and the people that we know, and we've known people around the world, yada yada yada. We've reached the limits. So we said, okay, then what we're going to do is like we need one place, one centralized place where we can put out everything that we know, all our knowledge, everything that we've learned over the past 10, 20 years, all our experience, everything I've been telling you today. We need a place to like house this so that this collective knowledge doesn't kind of like disappear.
Yep.
And we said, okay, let's do this. And then we build up this concept and we've met a few people and we talked to a few people. And this is where Mango Eyes got kind of originated. This is where this was born.
Yep.
And it's a place where me, Adrian, and all my friends can put our knowledge that we have. We can put it on film. We can throw it online and people can learn about it. It's a tutorial website. From day one, we wanted a concept. We took Netflix, so we said we want Netflix, but we want it for photography. So we built a Netflix for photographers. That's what we called it from day one as well.
Nice.
We subscription cheap as possible so that it's accessible to everybody. So we wanted like maybe 5 to 6 euros a month, maybe 8 euros a month. That's what we wanted for a price. And we wanted like something pretty, something like Netflix that you can connect. You can see big images, and once you log in, you get like all the videos, all the categories. You can go to portrait, to lighting, to beginners, to advanced, to yada yada yada, and then find all the tutorials that are based off of that, and then pretty much show everybody everything that we have, give everything that we have, and
Nice.
That's what we've built. This is what Mango Eyes is. It's a tutorial website with my friends on it, and it's pretty much us sharing everything that we know. So we also posting new videos. I think we post 2 videos every month. So every month, every instructor posts 2 new videos. Yeah, that's what it pretty much is. It's a place for us to kind of.
Richard, you broke off. I think you need to reconnect again, or maybe your comm hanged or something. Richard, are you there? Seems like we've lost Richard. Let me just send him a quick text. Let him know that I'll see you there, buddy. Okay. Hopefully he'll be back online. So oh, what's that? Oh dear. Okay, 1 second. Okay, Richard, I know you can hear me because you're on Twitch as well. Let me see what I can do. How do I do this? Okay, let me try to sort this out. This is a technical issue. Let me just give me a second. See how I do this. I need to create a new meeting. Okay, 1 second. Here goes nothing. Hopefully this will work this time. Happens once in a while. We have this kind of funny issues. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a new segment. New link. Hopefully he can come back online. Okay, so anyway, while waiting for him to get back online, I think what they have with regards to the Mango Eyes project is really cool, because it's something that is fundamentally like Netflix for photographers who may want to learn a thing or two without having to actually attend a workshop. I think there are videos and things like that that explains theories and practice. But really, I think this is a fantastic idea. So anyway, Richard is back online, so let's see if we can bring him back on. Let's see. Okay. Looks like he's coming back. Welcome back!
Zoom doesn't like me anymore, man. Why the hell does Zoom keep crashing on my ass today?
I have
like
no
of
idea,
all this has been working like for a month. This whole Corona period, I've been doing this. There was nothing wrong, and now we do this live show.
Murphy's Law, man. Murphy's Law.
Definitely Murphy's Law.
Yeah, but I was just telling the audience, Mango Eyes Photography is a very encouraging and what do you call it? Exciting idea because it's like a really like Netflix for photographers because they can watch tutorials and things like that in practice via videos and based on genres and categories that they will be interested in without having any concerns with logistics and things like that. Because one of the things I hate about running workshops is the logistics. It's not fun. The logistics, the marketing. A lot of people, in this country, in Singapore especially, a lot of people are like going, oh, I'm a photographer, I can run my own workshop, but they didn't take into account the harrowing nightmare that is logistics, preparations for the marketing and all that.
Food, extra food, more
yeah.
food. How I call it, glucose intolerant is that one, and that one's a vegan. So you gotta make sure there's food for every dietary needs. Yeah, man. Everything that comes to marketing and getting it out there.
Let me just get the link for Mango Eyes Photography, and I put it inside the chat window as well, so people can check it out on their own. Let me
send
just
you it as well. Copy, paste, send, go.
Okay, let me. Did I get it right? Oh, there you go. Okay, so putting it here. So okay, awesome. Oh wow, why is Twitch broken? It thinks that so you don't click on that link, you copy the whole link because for some stupid reason it thinks PHY is not part of the link. I don't know why.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think
it's not photography at the end.
Yeah, it's not. It's so weird. It's like photograph, it's so weird. Okay, so Richard, just to wrap up, do you have any way where people can reach out to you via website?
Yeah, I mean, if you pretty much Google my name, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me on everywhere, anywhere.
Yes.
Twitter, just the usual social networks. I add everybody. I love meeting new people as well.
He's a very friendly guy, so I'm just gonna put.
I'm not that friendly though. I'm very grumpy.
Very
quiet. Very quiet guy. Very shy.
Very shy. Yeah, so this is the page. I'm actually sharing the screen. So if you want to, you can always reach out to Richard via his website under the contact section. And on top of that, he does have a Facebook page as well. Let me just put a link here in the chat window so you can. Oh look, the whole link comes out this time.
Hey!
So you can check out Richard's Facebook page as well. So you have his. You can view his works, his fantastic works. I just can't say that enough. Yeah, it's just amazing. Or you can follow him on Instagram. So this is his Instagram account. So I'm just gonna put a link here as well. Do follow him. He has a lot of fantastic stuff. Oh, look at that! He even shoots lions and gorillas and cheetah.
That was the Rwanda trip. The Singapore of Africa trip.
The Singapore Africa. We don't have big cats like those in the wild. We do have small little kitties though. So very
nice. I'll take the kitties.
Okay, so anyway, just to wrap this up, do you have any tips or last sharing of tips that you want to share with the audience or advice you want to share with the audience before we wrap up?
Figure out who you are, what your worth is, and you can ask any money you want.
Wow. Powerful words. You got so many quotable quotes tonight. I'm just gonna write them down and make a book out of them or something. It's fantastic. But anyway, thank you so much, Richard, for this evening. It's been a plan. It's been splendid having you on board, and I'm really sorry that we actually extended so much time. I know it's supposed to finish at 7 p.m. now. It's 7:36.
It's Zoom. It's Zoom's problem. I'm gonna send Zoom an email going like, Zoom, it's your freaking.
yeah. Scold them, man. Tell them, oh man, A-MEZ-ING is paying so much money and you keep on crashing
exactly.
on me. Oh,
exactly. You gotta make this work, right?
All right, Richard. Thank you so much. I'll keep in touch with you on Facebook. I'll just wrap up the show over here. Thank you once again for sharing this insightful knowledge on anything to do with photography, your retouching, your basically your entire workflow. It's just purely amazing. I'm totally gonna put this up on YouTube, so if you want to share the YouTube link to your friends or your followers, feel free to do so. It's gonna be the whole thing.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
Love it.
All right,
thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll catch you on Facebook again. All right, see ya.
For sure. See you.
All right. Okay, guys, that was Richard Terborg from all the way from Netherlands. It's wonderful. Like I said, he is totally infectious. He's I don't know how else to describe him. But the moment you speak to him, you just wanna just talk to him more and more, right? Okay, so upcoming episode, we're gonna have Bobby Tonelli. He's a celebrity based in Singapore. He's also a photographer. He'll be joining me on the live stream on my show, The Amazing Live Show, on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Singapore time on the 21st of July. So Bobby Tonelli is also one of those guys who really knows his stuff about all things technical. He loves tech stuff. He's a reviewer with Tech 360 TV. And it's gonna be a real pleasure to have this wonderful gentleman here on The Amazing Live Show. So do stay tuned for that. Coming Tuesday, 8 p.m. Singapore time, 21st July 2020, we're going to talk a little bit about photography and his inspiration behind all things photography. All right, and of course, this is a shout out again to the pps.sg. This is the Professional Photographers Association Singapore. So if you guys want to check out how it is like to become a professional photographer in Singapore, this is the one-stop place you want to go to, especially in this time. If you are a professional photographer already running your own business and you want to figure out how to balance your sheets to make sure that your business actually makes financial sense, there is a business calculator here that you can follow through, and they can help you figure out how much you need to earn and how much you need to save to make sure that you have a sensible lifestyle, right? And the most important thing is, of course, right now because of COVID-19, we do have some precautionary measures we need to take to avoid spreading the virus even further. So there is the COVID-19 resource page available for your own perusal, and this actually tells you how you can adhere to some safety protocols that can help you with your own photography shoots, and making sure that all stakeholders, including your models, your talents, your stylists, your makeup artists, your assistants, your own crew, your digital tech, everyone involved in the particular photo shoot remain safe. Okay, so this is very important. It's very important that you can follow through with this. There's even a comprehensive PDF format guide to how you can actually work with the safety protocol guidelines that have been set up by the PPAS over here as well. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today's episode of The Amazing Live Show. It's been wonderful as always to have you guys join in the fun. Please let me know how I can improve the channel even further by going to my Twitch stream channel. This is where you can actually write your feedback. There's a suggestion box over here. This is available, of course, on my Twitch stream. And if you have any suggestions on who else to bring onto the show, who else, or rather what else you want me to talk about on the show, this is where you can lay down your suggestions as well. And of course, as always, if you guys can, show your support for this channel by using your camera phone to scan on the QR code and head over to my Razer Tips stream, and please remember to use Razer Gold to buy the shots. 100 shots is just $1. That's how cheap it is to chip in and show support for the channel. If not, you can always hit the follow or subscribe button to show your support for the channel, and I truly appreciate it if you could just do that. Alright, and with that, it's time to close the show. As always, it's just phenomenal having you guys here. Do spread the word about the Twitch stream. I will still continue Twitch streaming on my Twitch channel for quite a fair bit, regardless whether the circuit breaker is over or not. And right now I think the phase 2 is gonna last a little bit longer, but let's see how it goes. But in any case, do take care of yourself. I'll see you when I see you on Tuesday. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
On 3, 1, 2